it was broadcast.
I think they could hear us.
Could they hear us? Or
It seemed like it in the chat. Like it seemed like they were saying, "Oh, the picture's gone, or we can't see you."
so, I mean, well, let me ask the question very simply. You guys, were you able to hear us, or was it just the picture that was lost?
And more importantly, why did it do that?
Yeah, I do not know. That's an amazing question, and if we knew that, we wouldn't have let it happen.
Tagadini, you're one with us. It blacked out. Everything was gone. Oh, with black screen with no audio.
Okay.
So, oh man.
All right, so let's give a quick synopsis of our opinions of this particular email so that the person who wrote it can actually benefit from it, which is very simply like, it did a good job of aggravating the problem. The aggravate aspect of problem agitate solution is it's a questionable. But the best thing that you can do in this email would be to go through and look for opportunities to tighten it up. Like look for opportunities to like really like go for the throat, be very direct, and like just like cut the fluff, and that's going to be very impressive. Now that we're on a new stream, like, how do I answer this? I can't be like, go back earlier in this stream and see my whole spiel about when you would want to use your dick.
The video will be there, right, on YouTube?
Maybe.
I
don't know. I guess now this won't remain online because now it's just a broken, fractured ass stream.
Oh man, I'm gonna blame my new setup and hope it was that.
It was entirely your fault, Alex.
Yeah, no, I'm used to that. All right, God, I hope that's been useful enough to the person who wrote that. But yeah, like it was okay, so don't.
Yeah,
we'll throw it in.
I would run it even as is, but there's definitely room for improvement.
Man, look how neat this is.
Yeah, so we got the client, the copy type, the audience, the goal, etc. Okay, subject line. Open if you want to land more clients in the next 30 days.
Well, it's direct. Something that's a bit controversial? Like, I don't hate that purely because it's so super direct.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if I do want to land more clients in the next 30 days, I may well open it. And more recently, like, I haven't been seeing so many subject lines that are, like, incredibly direct. They tend to be more kind of like the ones we looked at in the first two. So I don't hate that. I would actually be interested to run it to see how it did. It's certainly not the best, and it certainly could be more specific, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I mean, if this were financial copy or health copy, a legal compliance editor would say, open if you want a chance to land more clients in the next 30 days. So, big difference when you're promising something like those sorts of compliance nuances are important. So, hey, getting clients as a copywriter can be easy if you do it right. Okay, not a terrible disrupt. Here's how Alex would do it if he had to start over again to find the best paying work without former clients, leads, or connections, and it would only take him 30 days to achieve it. It is the exact same day by day and task by task strategy he used to increase his income from 0 to over $230K a year. No cringy social media posts. I would change the 0 to what's actually in there, which is like, it was like $2,300 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because in the sales letter, like it shows like, you were earning something. You were at 1, and then you were able to 100x your income based on what you figured out over the course of doing outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So I would make that change. No cringy social media posts or need to spam potential clients. I love how like everybody is aware of like what everybody else is doing and how they're fucking it up.
Yeah.
For me, like, I never use social media for outreach, and so like everybody is just like obsessed with it right now, and I'm just like, bro, like that's not where the high quality, high value copywriters live. That's not where they go. Anyway, click here to learn more about Alex's 30-day client getting strategy. See you soon. Copy that. P.S. Don't take our word for it. And then 3 testimonials.
Now, I like this email, and I would be happy to run this as is. I actually don't think adding the testimonials at the bottom adds much to this email.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would actually be interested to run that as a test in and of itself. Just a lift with testimonials and a lift without testimonials, because I don't think it would affect that much. So I would actually cut that. Or sum it up in one very, very simple, short, concise testimonial, which takes up that single PS line to just make it feel like I'm just being pushed over the edge to, okay, well now I really have to know, you know.
Honestly, that was going to be my feedback for it as well, which is very simply like, PS, don't take our word for it. Take a look at what Mario just wrote to us, and then have the quote, and then say, if you're interested in getting this resource, that helped Mario and so many other people, click here now. You have to have, if you're going to do a PS in a lift email, you have to have another CTA.
Yeah, also a good point.
So that's my recommendation for the PS. But again, I like you, Alex. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it can be a nice little booster sometimes. But right now, as is, this is fine.
I would run that. The only thing I would change is the 0 thing, as you mentioned. And I would run that subject line as well. I think perhaps this could be strengthened if you had a different subject line, and I would probably test it with different subject lines if we were only running this lift. But bar that 0 to 30, I'd be happy to run that. I think this is probably the best one I've seen so far that I think would get most clicks.
How about that? Well, it's going to be in a tournament, and we'll see what
we
gets
will
the
see.
clicks.
We will see.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out that the thing that we hate is got the most clicks and sales. So.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Copywriting and marketing is all about being open to being surprised and letting the market teach you. Mm-hmm. All right.
This a mean one. A note for submission. This email captures Alex's. Well, I will be the judge of that. And focuses on addressing the audience's outreach frustrations with the DNR roadmap solution. It's designed to be concise, relatable, and curiosity-driven. Okay, cool. Subject line: stop playing email roulette with your career. Okay.
That one's a little too metaphorical for me. Listen, it could work. Mm-hmm. But you have to wonder, email roulette, is that intriguing and provocative, or is it vague and what is this even saying to me?
Yeah, that was going to be I don't mind the formula, if you like, of stop doing X with your career. Email roulette, playing email roulette, not sure. I almost would be tempted to go with something more provocative and almost stop shooting your career in the back of its head, right?
Ooh.
Something that's very, very almost accusatory, but then within the email it then opens up into it's effectively not saying this, but the kind of whole thing around, well, look, it's not on you that this is happening. Everyone's doing this. This is all the shit advice you're getting. So might rework that subject line. But again, as Sean said, it may well work. And I think it's more intriguing than something that's, more generic that we've seen. So fine. All right. Hey, Sean, ever tried those guru tips for landing clients? Cold email 100 people a day. My inbox still wakes up screaming. Hustle harder on social media because that's working so well, right? Grind on Upwork until your soul exits chat. Been there, got the burnout badge. I hit slight gripe with that. I didn't do that much on Upwork. So, technically I haven't really been there. I would put Fiverr, but maybe I can let you off for that. I hit rock bottom with those two, then something clicked. See, I built what I couldn't find, the DNR roadmap. Back when I was writing heartfelt dog rescue leaflets, noble cause, ramen budget, this is what I desperately needed. It's not about hustling harder, it's about being different and relevant, showing dream clients why you're their perfect match, while everyone else plays email roulette. Want to see why the DNR roadmap works? This isn't another manifest success fairy tale. It's the exact system that transformed my income from 2,300 to 230 grand. No spam, no soul crushing grind, no guru BS, just a proven 30-day path to clients who already want what you offer. Revolutionary, right? Ready to stitch the hustle, hamster wheel, and land real clients. This is the only course I recommend to new copywriters because it's the one that would have changed everything for me back then. Alex.
All right. Can I list off my gripes with this?
You may.
Okay. First off, this is trying to be cute instead of being clear. That's gripe number one. Elegance emerges from clarity, it's not something that you can just manufacture and do. This at times feels like it's trying too hard, and it reads that way. And a skeptical reader is going to be put off by that, as they usually are. They'll be like, I see what you're doing there. So what you lose when you're trying to be too cutesy clever is you lose the ability to be very clear and very like communicative to the people that you're trying to reach. So that's thing one. Thing two, this reveals way too many details that are on the actual sales page. And in fact, why is it called the DNR roadmap and not the different and relevant roadmap? Alex?
The whole reason is so they actually have a reason to read the rest of the page and to be intrigued. So if you're giving away different and relevant here, the fact it's called the DNR roadmap in the headline of the page is irrelevant because there's no big reveal, you know?
Yep. And so then the final thing is, again, this feels like it's targeting people that are a little too low, too early on in their career. And I think that in general, you will generate more sales if you target people that are like, have figured out this copywriting thing at least a little bit, but are still struggling. Like, that's the power of this detail, the 2,300 to 230,000 detail, which is a fact, a true fact. And so, like, this is not zero, you know? I got clients, but they ain't paying me enough. So what do I do differently? And that's what this product is really, really good for. And that's how you're going to get the best possible clients. So, or best possible customers.
What? Sorry, do you have one more thing?
No, that was my three.
I had one additional gripe, and I think this is... I'm only bringing this up specifically because you said, I've tried to do this in the voice of Alex. And I think never mistake like the voice of someone as just making references about that person or from their life, right? So like when I read this, like I didn't particularly feel like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I write. Maybe it is. I don't really recognize my style, I guess. Obviously, Sean would be a better judge of that.
Yeah, but here's how to capture the voice of Alex. You spell words wrong by inserting random U's, and then you always sign off with the words crack on, comma, Alex. That's it. That's how you capture Alex.
We're going down that route. Here's how you write in the voice of Sean. Get a thesaurus, go to the least fucking used word, and then and put that in your email, and have everyone go, I don't know what the fuck ambidextrous means.
Well, I mean, I would use the word like sesquipedalian. Everybody knows what ambidextrous means.
Okay, right. Well, the thing is, I'm not you, so I don't have a thesaurus. Anyway, but my point is, finishing that, the reason I bring this up is because that line in the middle there, back when I was writing heartfelt dog rescue leaflets, noble cause, around budget, this way, like, what the fuck does that mean? Most people on the email list will have no context for what the fuck that's referencing. You know, like there's not enough, it's not relevant enough for you to introduce the concept in this email. And also it's confusing because when I was writing those rescue leaflets, that was effectively a client, but we're talking about cold outreach. So like, are you talking about this is good for writing leaflets? And as Sean said, you need to be clear before you're cute. And this seems like it's trying to be cute because it's trying to capture my voice by referencing something in my past, but it's just confusing.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's good feedback for this particular email. So I hope I see that this is revised. Because there's some good stuff here. It's doing some stuff right. But like, again, it's trying too hard. So, and yes, we're all looking for an opportunity to use the word extemporaneously.
I heard a real person use it. Not saying you're not a real person, Sean. I didn't mean it like that. I just heard it used in like a normal casual context the other day, and I was like, hey, I know what that means. All right, next one.
So, too much context. Do you want to? I'll read this one since you did the last one. Since it was in your voice, even though the words are all spelled correctly. Things I'm struggling with. I feel this lift could use a haircut. most of them could, but I'm not sure where. Maybe sentences 5 and 6 could be cut. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of the tool since it sort of implies working people like easy solution. Tools is fine. Tools is fine. Do we agree with this quote? Big ideas are usually simple ideas. I don't know if I agree with that quote.
Well, no. I mean, it depends how you're defining simple as well. Like, big ideas can take ages to come to through loads of research. Anything's a simple idea if it can be communicated simply. So, like, in a sense, yes. But
no, I think that big ideas, one of the things that qualifies a good big idea is the ability to be understood instantaneously. Like, you immediately have an emotional resonance. You immediately have an understanding of what's going on. Like, there's just a click that happens when you see a big idea.
Yeah. And
that's not necessarily simplicity. So.
Oh, by the way, Sean, I'm good to stay on, just so you're aware.
Okay. What the second makeup stream?
Yeah, exactly. I feel so bad. I'm gonna stay on for everyone.
Wonderful. Subject line 1: secret client getting tricks no other guru teaches. I don't know. Subject line 2: simple 30-day roadmap unlocks unlimited high-quality clients.
I mean, also, also just saying that this is a roadmap that early on, like, you can play on it if you want, but there's not enough intrigue here for me. You know, there's not enough. It's not showing me why this is like nothing else they've seen before. Because all of these effectively are benefit implied subject lines. You're trying to say you're going to get something out of reading this, but none of them feel different enough from what I would see from opening an email from anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, again, we encourage people to be D and R, different and relevant. One of the things with subject lines too is like, I would encourage people to like, what would be an easier, simpler, faster, more immediate way to understand unlocking the secrets to unlimited copywriting clients? I would just write as a subject line, copywriting clients on tap, ? There you go. Yeah. Just copywriting clients on tap, ? That's it. And so you instantly understand, like, like, there's intrigue there. There's like the clear benefit that's implied. So I don't know. I don't think that these are working. I would go back to the drawing board on these.
Yeah.
Subject lines 2 and 3 were written by ChatGPT. Maybe. Secondary subject line: this makes finding clients simple. Again, that's not going to, I think, move the needle. All right. Here's the opening. These strange sets of tools go against what every other copywriting guru teaches about getting clients. But they've led to real replies like this. Blurry image.
That's probably my fault, to be fair.
Yeah, we definitely need better screen captures for our stuff, especially when it's like into that dynamic thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Kaylee to help us with that.
I feel like we had a conversation about it at some point, and I feel like I might need to go and get the screenshots. I can't remember. We'll update it.
Yeah. We'll we can always remake the things. It's a real thing based on anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, we could just type it out in like a nice
type
format.
It the fuck out, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh shit, that's a really good point. I literally went back to 2018 or 2019, screenshot in this format. I didn't have my phone on me. All right. Well, I want to be authentic. At least we've got the original ones now.
Right. No, I appreciate that, but
the Agora legal team would love me because they'd be like, "Oh, look, you actually went." They don't care if it's blurry.
You just fucking wait. you haven't even had the pleasure yet.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Replies like this have landed me over 60 clients and multiple in-house roles. Most recently, a salaried marketing position with a take-home pay of $230,402 in 2023. People are really leaning into the money aspect, and it's like, I don't think in any of our marketing we've ever really been this brazen about like talking about money.
No, like well, obviously we mentioned the sales page because it's an important aspect because that's why people would want an outreach thing. That's also not true. It wasn't just from a salaried marketing position. So like it's not like the take home pay from that salary position was that much. I was doing multiple
don't be a precision fetishist.
It's just a case of legal. They love me. Okay, I don't mind this email so far. Is something I am going to say though right now. Like I actually like how this opens.
Okay.
And I actually don't mind that it's, even though it's taken from the sales page, I don't mind that it's using something from the sales page because it's not revealing too much. It's just simply using a good asset, which is like, oh wow, okay, this really works, which instantly proves to me that this is something that has got clients in the past. So I don't mind that so much.
My suggestion, especially since different email readers are going to be differently sizing, and this image could be like super, super tiny depending on where it goes out, you might want to pull out what's called a pull quote. That is, you pull a quote from the testimonial that's super spicy and worth like drawing attention to, and you write that out in full text. And then this email here is not meant for people to read. It is meant to corroborate the evidence. Understand what I'm saying? All right. But this is just a fraction of what we wanted to show you today. Sean, Rod, and Lindsey have also been using these same strategies throughout their careers, these same principles. Landed Rod an in-house job at Wieden & Kennedy, an agency that does marketing for Nike. Got Sean these same principles, got Sean backdoor access into a copywriting role at Agora, the world's biggest financial publisher. Catapulted Lindsey in an executive position overseeing marketing of multi-million-dollar real estate campaigns. And today, we'd like to present you with our new and improved roadmap of how we got there. You'll get over-the-shoulder insight of everything we know about landing high-quality clients, all rolled into a simple-to-use roadmap. You'll have everything you need to find the right business, the right person, and perhaps most importantly, the right kinds of things to say. I like that. This was good. This was my favorite part. Click here to discover the precise set of tools no other copywriting guru mentions. Crack on, comma, Alex.
Extra points.
Look at that. Perfect. Mwah! Captured his voice perfectly. Yeah, all you need to do is like add ROULLED. It's simple to use ROUADMAP. You know, British spelling.
Yeah, of course. Very good. What do you think overall?
Overall, I give this a B. I think the subject lines definitely need improvement.
Yes.
I think that I would experiment with different ways of rewording the opening. Like maybe seeing if you could break this up into 2 lines or 2 clauses, maybe, just to get people into it. Definitely think you need a pull quote from this. Definitely think this needs to be reworded. I like this, though Lindsey currently is in an executive position for a major financial marketing company. Actually, I was talking to her the other day. Jeff Brown's business, the one that she's the publisher of, currently at the top in terms of sales at MarketWise.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they just hit the -- 1 spot. And so they're launching another franchise under her umbrella. So
nice.
Her shit's growing, man. She
is. Lindsey absolutely blew me away. Like when I met her in person, because like she doesn't stop working and doing stuff, and she's a mum, and she cooked for me, like in the middle of us filming all this shit, and she like basically aced all her lines, and she was helping with the script, and she cut out time for everything. And she's still managing to run a successful career. It's just like Lindsey has my eternal respect.
Yeah, she's to be fair, I think she's going to be the richest of all of us. Like she's nuts. So there's that.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. Based on everything we just talked about, I wonder why we don't see Lindsey too often. No, she's going to be on screen a little bit more once I'm building a studio here in Florida, and so I'm going to have Lindsey come in as frequently as possible to come talk about stuff.
I mean, and we have our full course coming out in 2025, which is she's a quarter of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also gave her a lot of the really difficult lines and like long bits of text because
she was so good.
she was super good. So we gave her a nickname, Lindsey One Takes, because she was able to like take very long bits of text and just knock it out on the first take. It was really crazy. Anyway, I was Sean Two Takes. So anyway, that's my advice about this particular email. What would you say about this that could improve it?
I think that it actually uses proof and claims well. Like, again, I know we said, how a lot of them are leaning into that 230K mark. Like, that, I think that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that because, like, we are specifically trying to target people to take them to those kind of levels. And I want to speak to people who want to go to, at least earning more, if not, like, the highest ceiling they can. But I like it because it's not just telling me that, this stuff works. It's showing me, here's an actual real reply. It's not just telling me that, it's worked for all of us. It's showing me the things that you, Rod, and Lindsey have achieved. So I like the kind of claim proof dichotomy you've got going on throughout, I think is actually quite good. However...
The Sean word, dichotomy. I love it.
Yes. That means a two thing. That's all I know. However, one thing I would say, and again, I know you obviously like the bottom section, but one thing I would say is that I would potentially take the emphasis off of the roadmap itself, because right now, like, it's fine if you want to keep that, but I wouldn't be kind of talking about tools and roadmap. It's confusing me. Like, what is, like, is this, are these tools part of the roadmap? Are they separate things? I don't really know. So I would kill one or the other. Whatever one you want is fine, but again, just keep in mind the next page that people are going to see. So if you want to keep roadmap and have them then like see that it's called the DNR roadmap, fine. But make a decision there.
I think that's a very, very good note. And that's one that I learned writing sales letters, which is like, if you're going to call something, don't be afraid to just refer to the same name or use the same word over and over again. Because if you start trying to get fancy and be like, this is a tool, a blueprint, a roadmap, a thing, it gets really confusing because people are like, they're not reading your stuff critically. They're skimming stuff typically. And so you stand a chance of confusing people as you like use too many words to refer to the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that it for this one?
I think there seems to be Nolan's piece in the comments, because I think he's replying directly to this. So yeah, so Nolan, pretty good job. Like, solid email. We'll definitely like run this. But yeah, work on the notes we've said. It sounds like you've got them written down already. Sounds good. Cool.
A few more left. Let's see. From 0 to paid.
This is my one, isn't it?
From Hilda. It's ready for review. Relevant assets, destination URL. We got the email type. It's a lift. Sent to the complete list. I love how Hilda is a former accountant or current accountant who wants to be a former accountant. And I love her. She has a very analytic and very like point by point way of thinking and approaching things. I really appreciate and respect like her mind as it has come through in her copy that I've read. So
I like the funky typeface as well. However, big problem with this immediately, and I can see this just by skimming it. From 0 to paid, not the messaging we're going for. Your first client in 30 days or less, not the messaging we're going for. So that's there. Now, the body copy. Let's just leave that where it is, the subject line. Body copy. You binged all of our free stuff relentlessly. You practiced diligently the way we showed you. You are now ready for your first client. But contrary to popular belief, to land your first client, you don't need an extensive portfolio, years of experience, polished pitching skills. But what you do need is a plan. That's why you need the different and relevant, again, committing that sin. We don't want to give away this different and relevant just yet. Our original approach to outreach. It's the only program that, as far as we know, can get you your first client within 30 days or less. I'm going to stop here. Now, this is the same problem as what we've seen in a couple of the other emails, is that you are now giving away way too much of what this product is. Let the sales page do that. This is not a sales email. This is a lift. You just need to get people to there. And to me, it just seems like you have pretty much summarized what the sales page is.
Yeah. Another thing, too, is, I appreciate what she's trying to do here, which is, having very short, punchy sentences, but there's a difference between like short, punchy sentences and like sentences that just sort of like end just for the sake of going on to a new line. That doesn't really make sense. That doesn't really add anything. Like it's closer to like poetic enjambment than like an actual coherent way of framing or articulating things. Write normal sentences, but if there is an opportunity to do a break mid-clause, just use ellipses, and I would say use them sparingly. Certainly, like 20 to 30% of your sentences can be broken up that way. But if you get into a situation like this, for example, where you just have a long sentence and you've decided, well, that's a long sentence, I might as well break it up. Rewrite the fucking sentence. Just, this is the only, as far as we know, comma, this is the only program that can get you your first client within 30 days or less, period. We also, and like, obviously you would want to change that because that's a claim that Alex is not comfortable making, but then you would have this be a separate sentence. And really the only purpose of an and any coordinating conjunction, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so, those are the 7, and is one of them. The only purpose of those words is to connect 2 sentences together, which means that this could easily be turned into its own sentence.
Now, the two kind of main issues with this, in a broad sense, this is promising things too directly and claiming things too directly. A few times, like I can see down there, fundamentally it is like your GPS taking you from 0 to getting paid in 30 days or less, and it's perfect for beginners like you. Like, that's way too direct and not what we're promising. The second big problem I see with this is that it's giving away too much, like we mentioned, okay? So you need to do 2 main things, and I would go back to the drawing board with this. And I would first of all go, okay, let me understand what the actual purpose of the sales page is and who it's targeting, right? That's the first thing. Just make sure you have it clear, right? Who am I actually trying to talk to here? Which is copywriters who have already had a little bit of success, but they're stuck. They feel like they can't quite get the best clients they want. They don't know how people are breaking through to those, earning the big bucks. 2, you need to actually scrap the thinking that you have currently, which is, I need to summarize the sales page. That is not what's happening. And if you find yourself summarizing the sales page when you're planning this email again, you need to stop and restart. And thirdly, what I would be looking at is, what claims can I imply, what promises can I imply without directly promising people, hey, you're going to make a ton of money, right? Because that's obviously not what we're doing. Those are the 3 things you need to do. I know that's kind of broad and high level, but there's no point in us giving line feedback here because there's too much.
The value edit is that the approach is wrong. Now, there are some interesting things. It's one of those things where it's like spaghetti thrown at the wall. Some stuff sticks, some stuff doesn't. If I were to write an email, like I would just like go through here and I would pick out certain things. Like I immediately got an idea for a conceit for an email, which is like it opens up with like, subject line, getting clients is easy actually. And then the body of the email is step 1, watch our free videos on YouTube, the copy that YouTube. Step 2, practice. Step 3, follow the DNR roadmap, and then that's a link. And then the end is like, if you follow these 3 steps, I can't guarantee you're going to be the greatest copywriter in the world, but I do guarantee that you're going to be better off than everybody else who's screaming for clients right now. Signed, Alex.
Yeah.
How's that for a lift? And I was inspired by this to come up with that idea, that conceit for an email that I think would actually probably work pretty strongly.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right.
Awesome.
Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Subject line, fuck cute.
Ooh.
Do we want to do that?
Now, this is a question for you, Sean, before we get into this at all. How have you ever run into problems with swear words or stunted swear words, with asterisk, in subject lines?
I have. It runs the risk of running into deliverability problems or getting a lot of complaints from people on a list. And obviously, the more complaints you have, the more bounces you have, the less likely your emails are going to end up in a person's inbox. It will either go to promotions or to spam. I've had better success with scrambling letters, FCUK, for example, and like other ways of framing stuff. But it's one of those things where it's like, do you have to do it? Like, if you know you're walking that tightrope, like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, are you really going to like get the benefit that you're hoping for by incorporating that?
Yeah.
So,
Like, I think that, that's the reason I asked the question is because, I know of people who've had deliverability issues. Now, I think with an asterisk, maybe you'd be okay. We cannot know the filters of every email software in the world. But when in doubt, like, just go to the CeeLo Green method of changing the word fuck to the word forget. If you want to, forget cute, I think is just as effective here because it's still super intriguing. And people know it's come from Copy.that, so they already know us, and it's just forget cute. And that's interesting enough and intriguing enough to be like, what's that? I'm not saying that's going to kill, but I think that's going to be just as good as fuck you.
Yeah. Those are called minced oaths, if you care.
You've just made that up. That was what sounds are going to come to my head first. Mince oaths.
Minced oaths. Here, I just put it into the chat. Minced oaths.
I thought you were trying to do one word. I thought it was like minced oaths or something. And I was like, I don't know what a minced oath is.
A minced oath. Anyway.
All right, sorry, carry on.
I mean, I'm sure you rolled your eyes a little bit when I pulled out the word paradiastole during our conversation with David earlier.
I was mainly blanking you. I was mainly as soon as you say more than 2 syllables, I just switch off because I'm like, yeah, it's not worth me listening to the rest of that word.
Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, so forget cute. You like copy. That's cute. So do a million other people. I feel like I need to read this in like a New York or like a very aggro or New Jersey accent.
Definitely.
There's a swarm of them out there. Newbies, wannabes, no cluebies, all brawling for bucks. But the ugly truth is, they'll never make the type of money they hope to. Do you want to be one of them? Don't want to be one of them? Click here. Link to the CCC. You see, liking copy isn't enough. Studying copy isn't enough. Watching YouTube channels about copy isn't enough. Signing up to email lists about copy and never taking action definitely isn't enough. Yeah, let that one sink in. Hell, even practicing copy isn't enough to make money. Real money. Eat out whenever I want money. Multiple vacations a year money. Geek out on my weird ass hobby money.
That was personal.
Well, that is personal. That person got you.
Hide all of the stuff on there. Carry on.
Well, for that sort of moolah, you have to do one thing. Get wake.
Wake. Koipi.
Whether that means your own business or going in-house, you need wake. And good wake. Wake that pays. So how do you do that? How do you beat the growing swarm of YouTube dabblers, Upwork battlers, of Fiverr stragglers? Of cute hobbyists fighting the wrong battles, or voice, too afraid of the real ones? You find copywriters that have fought that fight and won. Battle-scarred and standing where you want to be. Copywriters that remember the path they took to get there. Better yet, they are willing to lead you down that very path with a 30-day step-by-step guide to getting wake, making money, and staying paid. Well, lucky for you, that's exactly who we are and what we're offering. Fuck cute. Get real. It's time. Click here for wake. P.S. Don't share this email. It's best we keep the swarm storming the wrong castles.
Right. I've never felt more English like listening to that. I have an opinion. This, to me, and I do not mean this in an offensive way whatsoever. This to me reads.
God, that's such a good line.
Oh, you've given Sean another retort.
Oh my God.
This reads to me like a lot of the copy I see in the email lists of gurus. Like I don't know, 6 months ago, I subscribed to like probably not all of them, but a load of copywriting gurus who have email lists. Yeah. This is kind of how they all write.
Yeah.
And like that's what's putting me off on it, just from a heebie-jeebie point of things. Like it just feels not us, which is an extremely vague thing to say. But like as the client of this, it just feels like I'm open to test something like this with a few caveats. Again, just targeting the right kind of person, not be claiming about first clients or, saying that, oh yeah, you've got to do this to make money, unaggressifying some of it. I'm open to run this because we've never run something like this before.
Oh yeah, no, I would totally test something like this, but there are definitely parts where it felt like for example, the rule of 3 is pretty important. So there's all these different things where this isn't enough, and it's like beyond 3, all right, we get it. Mm-hmm. And they do say there's do things in 3s, 5s, and 7s, but it's going a little bit too far, I think. And what you want to do is you want to have the short one, a medium one, and then the most impactful one. You want to have either an ascending or a descending impact with each thing that you list. So definitely opportunities to clean up and pare things down there. Down here, there's definitely I can tell that some of the copy is getting a little cutesy.
Confused. I was so confused.
Battlers, and stragglers.
I just don't understand. From the next line to the next 4 lines, I don't even understand what it's saying. Because to me, you've just been talking about oh, these are all the bad people you beat, and then you say if cute hobbyists find their own battles. Then I think you're answering that question, but because you've kind of been going in these beats of are you beating this person? Are you doing better than these people? Are you doing better than these people? Then it goes into you find copywriters that fought the fight and won, battle scarred and stand there where you want to be. Copywriters, it's just wait, I was confused when I was reading it because I thought you were still talking about bad people. I kind of now see reading it again what you were trying to get at, but there's just too much of that same cadence throughout the whole email, and it's it was getting a bit much for me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, again, this feels very Tom Stoic-y. I don't know if you signed up for his list.
Yes.
His stuff is a lot
I always forget which one he is.
Yeah, I mean, they're all basically fucking, different sides of the same die. But his whole online shtick is being this very abrasive, fuck you, pay me kind of guy. Which is like a discount store Ben Settle, basically.
Oh yeah, okay, no, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. And so, did I just call Tom Stoic a discount store Ben Settle? Anyway, but besides that, what I would point out is that this is very aggro. I'm willing to test it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't for our list. I have no idea. I'm not going to presume to know. But I will say that I would go through and reread this and look for places to tighten it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the main thing for me. I've read. I mean, to be fair, I haven't really read them recently. But I went through a kind of a big phase of just reading all the kinds of things that other gurus are sending out, and this is super common. And I even saw in a couple of videos. I forget all the names. Cardinal Mason, I remember him, and then Tyson. And I've watched a couple of their videos where they're writing emails or they're showing emails or something. I can't remember if they write them. It was a while ago now, but they all do it in this style. And this is basically, it seems to be that they're pretty much just teaching people how to write in this style, and that's the main kind of copy they're writing. And then they do that either for selling more copywriting courses or for selling, fitness courses or whatever. It's always very course focused and very coaching heavy, that kind of stuff. And there's a place for these kind of emails for sure, but I don't think it's with us. because it's not really our brand. And at the same time, I try and warn people like not to just think this is the style you should be writing in all the time, because like it's just not. It just doesn't really work for most businesses.
Yeah, but also like, listen, I'm open to learning about our list. And
Yeah,
the way to
I
learn-
definitely
yeah.
I definitely want to run this. I definitely want to run it. Like the whole point of this for me is just testing extremely different things and seeing what happens. I imagine this might get a fair few clicks. However, I also imagine this won't get many sales, because the kind of people who tend to click on these emails do not have as much money as normal people. They definitely make sale. They obviously do well because people use them. However, our list is not full of the same kind of people who those other gurus lists will be.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, you know.
Yep. No, I mean, that's always the dichotomy between like quantity of customer versus the quality of customer. And, you know, the biggest, most impactful lesson you can learn as a copywriter or a marketer is like always go for the quality customer over the quantity customer, unless like you're selling something like super cheap at volume. So
Yeah, thin margins.
Yep. Anyway, so hold on. A brave 8-year-old girl sending outreach in place of her bald dad who has a terminal illness of terrible outreaches.
I mean, it's intrigued me. I know that's not even the subject line, but I'm intrigued to read what the hell this is.
All right. Most of my brilliant ideas and my first email had way too many memes and jokes. Had to tone it down. Looking forward to the tournament. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, is this one you've already reviewed?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we
happy
got
to read
the
this.
URL answering the question in the chat. But you know, obviously, if you don't have a client yet, we don't recommend buying our stuff. Like, you know, get experience and then figure out how to like blossom from there. All right, subject lines and preview text. Subject line 1. This picture contains 7+ years of outreach experience from Alex. Subject line 2. 7+ years of outreach experience from Alex in this picture.
Okay, whoa. Let me stop you right now. Those are not different subject lines. And if you ever come to me and say, hey, I want to test 2 subject lines, and those are the 2 you want to test, I'm going to say, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, those are not different ideas.
Yeah. There's a great line. Was it Eugene Schwartz who said, you want to test screams and not whispers? A whisper test is basically just like, it's barely a difference, like a different button color, like something that's only going to marginally affect responses. But testing a different idea, like an entirely different angle, an entirely different approach, that's a scream. Like, you know that the difference in response is going to be meaningful. So, Subject line 3. What Alex would do to get his dream clients? Play with something around there. I don't think that's working right now, but there's something you can play with there. Subject line 4. Sean, Alex is going to help you get your dream client.
Not like that one less.
Subject line 5. Sean, would you like Alex's help finding dream clients?
I think it's better when it's phrased as a question.
Yes.
I still I think you're gravitating around an idea that could work, because obviously you're talking about someone that they should know on this list, which is me. Like, they should probably, if they've signed up for our list, they'll probably know Alex, Sean, Lindsey, Rod. So it's fine to lean into that. I think that's a decent thing to do. I think it would be more powerful if, and I'm surprised no one's done this. There's 2 things that I kind of want to see that people have done, and I haven't seen it yet. One of them is just saying like, it's just Alex, colon, and then like quotes, or, you know, you don't have to have a colon, but like, or don't have to have a quote, sorry, but like Alex, effectively saying, Alex says, I would do this if I had to land a client in 30 days. Like, you can obviously tighten that. That would be my subject line, right? Like, because that is ultimately, you're getting the authority that I bring to the email, which is, oh, well, this is from Alex, and it's giving me the benefit without promising anything. Like that's I'm surprised I haven't seen anything like that, but this is kind of gravitating around it, so I think you could probably do something with it.
Yeah, I like, you know, what I do if I needed a client in 30 days. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, body copy. Hey, Alex, This picture represents Alex's 56 plus hours over months of dedication to helping you land your dream client. What is this sentence guilty of?
There are too many clausey things, and if then so, you know how you like saying it.
Preposition striking.
That's the one.
This thing, verbs, this thing, over, that's a preposition, of dedication, preposition, to helping, another preposition, the technically introduction of a gerund, you land your dream job. So it's just hard to parse. It's a sentence that's hard to read. And so, as always, a confused mind does not buy.
Yeah.
So, and then we have something from me and my new Discord name, which is Stylish Chipmunk, which is a joke.
I was going to ask.
Literally a step-by-step guide to what one should do for 30 days straight if they want to maximize their chances of getting a client. I'm going through and editing it right now. And that was me when I was actually using... Kaylee and I went through the DNR roadmap with ink.
That's awesome.
So, copywriter's note, add link to the picture as well. Smart. Definitely want to do that. I like this idea, this intriguing idea of because this was a legit post that I posted in Discord and a legit message, and I was actually going through and marking it up. I think it needs more context.
Yes.
I think that you can build more intrigue around it. I think that this...
Just the subject line, Sean reveals Alex's secret. Just something around that. Have that as your subject line. Super intriguing. Seriously leans into us, if that's what you're going for with this email. And then push
Alex,
it into the rest
imagine the subject line hits your inbox. Sean fucked up, parentheses, again, parentheses.
I've had that about 4 times in the last month. So that's becoming a question to me.
Exactly, and you know to open it because it's a big deal. It's something you gotta fix.
Yeah,
so
but yeah.
So imagine that email, especially to a warm audience, people on our list already, people who know us. People are gonna open that. So again, there's ways to build intrigue around this that I think you're dropping the ball a little bit. Okay. It's a roadmap with actionable resources containing 7+ years of experience that made Alex over $230,402 per year. Not last year, per year. So, really quick, again, this is not the line editing stream. That was 2 streams ago for me. This is the high level, is this working or not? What can you do to improve it or not? And one thing that you can do to improve it is just look for opportunities to say what you're saying in each of your sentences more simply and more clearly. Resources like Alex's over-the-shoulder videos on how you can video Audi any prospect in any niche.
Video Audi.
What is a video Audi?
That is how West Coast rappers would say video audit. But forget the spelling mistakes for a second. This is giving away too much again. Alec is watching the stream. This to me is giving away too much.
Yeah, I agree.
You're talking about the resources that are inside. You're talking about what specifically I'm going to be talking about. That you can forget all of that. The sales page is there to do that. But the next section, which Sean's about to get onto, that hits well. And obviously, I'll let you continue talking.
It even shows you how to lever edge. Listen, I told people when I launched this campaign this contest, this competition, I'm going to run your emails as is. I'm not going to edit them. I'm going to act like a client who trusts their copywriter. I'm going to run your shit as is. So if you hear me say the word lever edge, and
Which
you
sounds like like a delightful community.
It sounds like a portmanteau, really, the combination of 2 words.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, if you're embarrassed by small little flubs and misspellings and things like that, It's going to be on you to fix that shit because I'm running your shit as is. So Upwork, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, or any other outreach platform you can think of. In fact, you'll be able to easily identify the perfect outreach channel to capture the attention of your ideal prospect. But that's just a tiny part of what this roadmap can help you with. You see, Sean, you're given a proven step-by-step guide, a guide that Alex would have given to his younger self, if not his younger self, but his younger self, if he were starting today without fancy experience. Hoping that you'll land your dream copywriting job faster than Alex did by following a crystal clear action plan. Not sure what this sentence is doing. But this roadmap is just one of the 4 proven methods that each 4 of Copy That members personally took to become copywriting and marketing masters, giving you a total of 4 clear roadmaps to help you land your dream client. Click here to discover all about this amazing roadmap and all other 3 easy to follow methods. Crack on. And see you on the other side.
Can I dig through the mud for a second?
Yes.
Let me show you one line in that we've talked about at the top, one line in that I think you can build off and you should focus more around, which is a guide that Alex would have given to his younger self. He was starting today without fancy experience. Now, that line can be tightened. Like, I wouldn't leave that as it is. I would make that a little bit easier to read. However, that there is an idea I've not really seen many people play on yet. Yeah, I think it's quite a powerful idea, which is, this isn't just something that like, oh, it's just been scrambled together. This is literally what I would say to myself, follow this, like go and follow this. Or if I had to restart with no experience, this is what I would do. Or if I had to restart and I didn't have all the accolades and stuff I currently have, that's what I would do. A guide Alex would have given to his younger self might be the basis for a cool subject line, which is similar to what we said. Like, yeah, exactly. Similar to what we said earlier around like having a subject line, which is saying like, if I had to, Alex, if I had 30 days to land a client, I would do this. That kind of messaging. Yep. I think everything around this, like, it's just not good because it's unclear. Yeah. Everything below that, this roadmap is just one of 4 proven methods. What are you referring to there? Because I know for a fact there's only one roadmap in the CCC, which is what's being sold here, which is the DNR roadmap. And this is the thing, if you start introducing the whole offer in your email, it becomes really confusing because then when people get onto the sales page and they start reading about the DNR roadmap, it's like, wait, so am I buying the DNR roadmap or like what am I buying here? Whereas just leading them, just trying to hint at the DNR roadmap generally and teasing that out means they know to read this as the DNR roadmap, and then they get hit with plus. You don't just get the DNR roadmap, you get a ton of this other stuff. So a bit of confusion around what is actually within the offer itself there, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My big gripe with this particular email is that a lot of it is just very unclear and written in a very confusing way that's just hard to read. And my big piece of feedback would be like, there's 3 different email ideas in here. The first one is around like building intrigue around this image and like what I was working on. And like you can actually just take the image itself and blur it, and like you don't even need my message. You can take the copy from my message and treat it as your own copy and frame it that way. Take a look at this stack of papers. Show the image blurred. This may not look like much to you, but what you're looking at is the product of over 56 hours of work. What is it? Literally a step-by-step guide to what one should do for 30 days straight if they want to maximize their chances of getting a client. Are you interested in having us send this to you? Click here for more details. That's the email.
There you go.
Done.
And notice how that's technically doing far less work and talking about far fewer things, but it sets up the sales page so much more nicely to then sell the person on the product. So perfect. Yeah.
And again, all I did was look at what's there and just tease out like what would be the intriguing bits, and then building like a life support system around the intriguing aspect. Another opportunity is the guide that Alex would have given. That's another email all by itself. But then there's I had a third idea for an email that this could be, but it's gone now. I've lost it.
It's okay. The winds of time will see it through.
Through my fingers like sand. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives a better insight of like how to reapproach this and revise this. But right now this is not really, again, like if somebody submits this to me as like, I want this to be my tournament entry, I'm gonna run it. Mm-hmm. And like that's the promise. So hopefully you revise this and you do a little bit better. Alex, any other comments on this?
No, I think we're good.
A lift is kind of like going to the strip club and you can barely afford enough for a lap dance. It's a weird analogy.
Is it?
I don't think it is.
A lift is like going to the strip club and you can barely afford enough for a lap dance. I would say a lift is like seeing. I'm not gonna finish that because I don't want to get into strip club analogies on this stream.
Oh, a little sensitive subject for you.
Let's definitely not go into that.
Yeah.
I will only tell that anecdote to, maybe that will be a bonus of like the next boot camp we run.
Oh my God. That's terrible. All right. We have a few more left. Subject line.
All right.
Ready to boost? Here, you read this one.
Yeah, I got this one. Ready to boost your copywriting career? Sorry, ready to boost your copywriting career? Sean, what's really hindering your copywriting career?
Oh God, my own arrogance.
Oh man, well, let's not start that. Let's not go into that tangent. Is that a CTA at the top of the email?
It is.
Interesting. I'm ready to boost my copywriting career, Alex. Sean, let me ask you a personal question. What's really holding you back from becoming the copywriter you know you can be? I've created a roadmap that can help you come up with the answer to this question. The DNR roadmap is designed for people just like you, Sean. If you're a struggling copywriter earning less than $100K per year who's ready to level up your copywriting career and start landing more clients effortlessly in just 30 days or less, then you need to keep reading. Why? Because you're about to learn my proven step-by-step DNR roadmap system that can change your copywriting business today.
Time out really quick. This is what I was saying about the sparing use of ellipses to break up lines. Because look at that. Why? Because you're about to learn my proven step-by-step DNR roadmap system that can change your copywriting business today. It's the same thing up here. Like, if you're a struggling copywriter earning less than $100K per year, who's ready to level up your copywriting career and start landing more clients effortlessly in 30 days or less?
Oh, I hope no one else is wearing headphones.
Like, if you reread your copy like that, like really exaggerate the subtle effects that you're having on your lines, you'll instantly be like, all right, maybe I want to change that. I do that for my own copy. I will read my copy in different voices to see how it reads. One of the, I recently wrote like a huge part of a script that we just recorded for our big copywriting course. And I definitely found that everybody who read my lines like tended to get through them a little bit more easily than like the people that, like Alex, who hasn't written a whole lot of scripts. And that just comes down to like imagining how the cadence of how somebody would read it out loud, especially from different perspectives and in different voices. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I'm not by any means, but it definitely helps. So that's the advice that I have when it comes to breaking up lines like this.
You'll learn the exact roadmap via step-by-step video tutorials and more that shows you the exact system I'm currently using to get clients, and have used to go from 2,000 to 230,000 in just 1 year. You too can start landing clients quickly, Sean. Yes, I want to start landing clients now. You will learn from my real-world experience via proven systems. You can eliminate the guesswork and apply a clear, actionable plan that gets you clients fast. If you're tired of the endless grind of getting clients and ready to take your business to the next level, then click here to get access to the DNR roadmap. Anyone can start using this proven system today. Here's to the stop of the endless grind of getting clients. Alex. P.S. Imagine waking up with new client opportunities in your inbox with the DNR roadmap. That's not just a dream, it's reality. P.P.S. Start today, click here, and let's make that dream happen together, Sean.
Oh, good use of a post-to-post script. What do you think?
I think that there are things that I like about this email, for sure. For example, you have qualified relatively well in this. Like you are saying. Also, I don't mind the disrupt either. Like what's holding you back from being the copywriter you know you can be. I think like that's a decent disrupt. That's decent, like hits someone quite personally and is not being like an arsehole about it. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think again, you're revealing the roadmap way too like early in this. I've created a roadmap that like it just feels like you're kind of just shoehorning that in there and then you're explaining it too much. Like I would either keep this super short and just say, I've created something like for you to help answer this very question. Click here to see what it is. Like it's perfect if you're earning less than 100K per year. Like I would just have that as like a short lift and send straight to the page. Because I think right now you're introducing the roadmap and then you're explaining it. I really like the qualification / disqualification here. Like if you're a struggling copywriter, like that's good. That's who this is for. It's people who are copywriters who are struggling and they're not earning what they want to be earning right now.
Can I pause you there really quick? Just point out like a really funny line. Like,
yes.
Imagine an agency copywriter, like a professional agency or brand copywriter reading this. Like, if you're earning less than $100,000 per year, I'm therefore struggling.
Yeah. But, you know, we like to aim for the stars here at Copy That. We know it's possible. But yeah, like 100% right. My biggest gripe with this, this email is so like chock full of cliches that it actually pains me. Like honestly, the first third of the email, if you basically do what I just said, I think would be fine as a lift. But you then go on and you talk about it's proven today system. Proven today system, proven today system. Like keep using that, you know, fast, get to the next level. All this stuff, which is like, let's just analyze a couple of these. Like getting to the next level, like that's such a weak way of putting it. You know, that's something that if you're gonna put it in there, dimensionalize it at least. You know, what is the person actually wanting to get? But even then, I feel like all of this is just surplus to requirement, and it's over explaining what the DNR roadmap is going to give you. Let the sales page do it.
Yeah, it's like imagine Alex coming at you and being like, "Hey, buddy, are you ready to take your business to the next level?" Because that's exactly how Alex is and how he behaves. You'd be like, that's kind of gross, right? Yeah. Alex, I'm sure that you would find that kind of gross.
Yeah, no, people say that to me anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I'll be in a store and I'll just be buying something and someone's like, "That's kind of gross," just looking at me. I'm sorry.
Jeez Louise. Goodness gracious. Nobody says that to you. You know that.
Nah, they're all like, "What a sexy motherfucker." I would like to sleep with this man.
See, that I think is more accurate. But imagine instead that you write. Imagine. Instead of sending out hundreds of emails day after day and seeing nothing come back to you, imagine just sending 3 or 4 and getting 1 or 2 replies every single day. Because that's the power of the type of outreach that I was able to discover early in my career. Like, imagine if this email said what I just said. It'd be much stronger. It communicates the same thing, but does so in a way that is like, have you ever seen that before? Is it compelling and provocative and interesting? I think so. So those are all things that you want to keep in mind and take into consideration when you're writing this kind of stuff. Cliches really can like kill a piece of copy. And honestly, this falls under the umbrella of like what I frequently talk about on stream, which is like your copy sounds like copy. So fucking stop that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but as you were explaining that, in my head, I've just come up with like a lift that I would, because we quite often like talk about metaphors and analogies and using them like sparingly, and sometimes they can be a bit risky because sometimes it's like confusing. But I think that, I can't remember what email it was, but one of them earlier kind of used like a comparison, like, oh, imagine instead of doing, that was it. It said cast your net wide, like versus, focusing on someone, right? A way to make like a really powerful analogy for that, which I think also would lead on from a really interesting subject line. Like, I would love to run the subject line that just says you have to kill me, ellipses, which is like, what? Okay, I want to click that because I want that to extremely intriguing. And then the opening of the email body is just like, imagine you get one chance to kill me and you get to choose between two weapons, either like a slingshot with 100 ping pong balls or a sniper rifle with just 3 bullets. Which one are you choosing?
I see where you're going with that. That's
and
good.
Then you can move that into this. I may even write this email. You can then like move that into like, this is effectively what every other copywriter is doing with the same BS advice they get all the time versus like choose the sniper rifle. And like, this is what I mean. You can even just end it with like, this is what I mean, and then you can link to the sales page. Like, the reason I wanted to bring that up is just because if we're talking about how to not do cliches in copy, and even though an analogy like is kind of cliche, you just need to think about it slightly laterally and think about, okay, well, what's a way this never gets said? So for example, right now you're kind of talking about like, I can't remember where the line was now. What was it? Yeah, that leveling up. That was it. Sorry, the leveling up one. Like that was the line. Leveling up the business. Like, okay, well, show me how you would level up. Just like how the analogy earlier I thought was quite weak. It's like, well, turn it into, or the metaphor, turn it into something that's strong and different that can be introduced in a very, very intriguing way. And that's what you need to be thinking about. Whenever you've got cliches kind of peppering your copy, think about, okay, do I need this? One, can I just cut it? And two, if it is doing something that I think the email needs, how can I make this far more specific and far more relatable for the person who's reading it?
Alex, I think that's very, very good advice. One of the issues that we run into a lot, especially with newer copywriters, is that they don't know how to revise their copy.
Yeah.
And so, one, like, it's a miracle if they reread their copy to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, a lot of people confuse revision with editing. And revision really means reseeing, really going through your lines and being like, how do I take this in a different direction? How do I think about this in a different way? What does it mean to level up a career? What does it mean? Like, what is the actual outcome of a leveled up career? And like, by having that sort of interrogative, that interrogating approach to your own copy, it's going to make your copy stronger, because you'll be like, well, that leads to this and this leads to that. And then ultimately you delete the original thing that you wrote and you replace it with a much stronger, more specific, tangible thing that you can hook onto. I was actually talking to Kyle Milligan about this. Like, we were comparing, or like, he asked me to review 2 email lifts. And, one he had written and one he had, like, one of his juniors had written. And it was basically the same thing, where it's like, one was super vague and one was super fucking tangible. And I was like, that one is the good one. He was like, yes, that's the one that I wrote. And then and he asked me to like explain, like, why was this one better? And I was like, I just said the thing about tangibility. And he was like, yes, that was the exact feedback that I gave to this person. But yeah, it's an important thing. It's an important thing to be able to revise and know how. And Alex, I think you should write an email for this tournament. I want to write an email for this tournament, and I think we should get ChatGPT to write an email for this tournament.
We did. I'm going to write that one just because, like, it's an idea I've had, and I want to go with it, and I don't want to think about this anymore. So I'm just going to do that and see how it turns out.
Okay, that sounds good. Why don't you want to think about it anymore? It's your product. Like, this is your baby.
This is my baby. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. And I also need to do a bunch of stuff for the free however many hour it's going to be course that I still want to get done. I need to arrange interviews with you guys, and then I just need to catch up on a bunch of work. So I want to just do a quick one. I'll revise it a couple times, have a look at it, and then get it out.
Okay. Really quick, I want to answer some questions. We only have 2 left. Could you refer to my multiple CTAs question out there? process on that one. It can be confusing enough to disinterest the prospect. No, that's not the case. In the optimal number of links in an email is 3. But you can get away with just 1. I've also seen stuff work with 2. I've seen ones work with 5. And it really depends on the email, the context. Like, for example, if it's a newsletter, and the newsletter has a bunch of insert and space ads, and each of those is a different CTA to a different thing, totally fine. Those work extremely well. Then there are lift emails that have like a single CTA but multiple links to the same place. Totally fine. Ideally, you want to go more indirect in those first 2 links, and then very direct, click here now in that third one. So that would be my recommendation for linking. It, honest to God, like having multiple links in an email has only ever proven to be a booster and not a detriment. So, is it ever okay for copy to sound salesy? Yes.
And also, salesy means different things to different people.
Yeah. No, I do. That is a true fact. Like, I've definitely, like, especially writing for an international audience, I've found that, like, writing in a toned down way for an American audience is still sometimes too aggressive for like a Japanese audience or for a German or European audience.
Yeah.
So please, when should I write lift type of emails for my clients? And when I write email that has kind of alpha, ADA.
Okay. I see.
When should you write an email lift? When you have a sales letter or sales page that does a very good job of persuading and building intrigue and selling the product. A lift email, again, is designed to sell the click. The sales page is designed to sell the product. So you don't want emails that go on for too long or really get attention, build a lot of interest and desire, and then ask for action. Like, you don't want to spend too much time in that email when really it's the sales page that's going to do the selling.
Yeah.
You can do some persuasion in the email, but only a little bit. It's like a delicate spice, like a saffron. You don't want too much. And that's how you want to think about your emails. And again, the purpose of them is to get the click. And yeah, you want to use a fully structured, like a more full-fledged, like a fuller sales argument in your email when there's less copy on what you're linking to. That's the whole distinction. The difference between a sales email and a lift. All right. And should beginner copywriters start with practice emails first? No, you should start with bullets. All right. Go watch the bullet writing masterclass. All right. Is it my turn or your turn?
I think it's your turn.
I will go. Subject line. The skeleton key. I can't even speak anymore. Secondary subject line. To Magic Kingdom. Okay. Alex here. Okay, first off, the subject line sucks. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's too vague. It's too cutesy. I don't like it. No. Change that. I mean, listen, if you want me to test it, I'll test it. But I think it sucks. All right. Alex here. I'll get right to it. We added something new to the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot. And combined with the rest of the course, it's everything you need to succeed on real projects and land high-paying clients. Yeah, no, speak your piece. I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know.
And hopefully, if the person who's writing this or has written this is watching, you should also know what I'm going to say by now. Like, why are you introducing the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot? One, when you're, first of all, giving away the farm far too easily in this email, like it's not disrupting or building intrigue in any way. And two, if I were to click now, the first thing that I see is about a roadmap, not about the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot. Even if you're saying, hey, I added this, it's like, but then I click, oh, cool, you've added something. Could you follow my DNR event? It's like, well, what, is this the right link? What's the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot? You know, not everyone knows what the Copywriting Career Co-Pilot is as well, even if they're on our list. You know, we don't really advertise our courses that much, you know. So that's the starting thing. And also saying it's everything that you need to succeed on real projects and land high-paying clients. What do you mean is everything that you need to succeed on real projects? Because, like, no, it isn't, because it's specifically about outreach. So why would you? That shows me you don't even know the product that you're writing for. There's two things immediate, or three things immediately.
Yeah. One copywriter described the CCC as finding the skeleton key to Magic Kingdom. Another as one of the best purchases of my life.
Unspecific, no real references, doesn't feel very real, and I don't know what the CCC is right now, so like I have no reason to even want proof about it. Because you've not really claimed that it's going to do much. I don't know what this thing is for yet. I know you've said briefly that you can succeed on real projects and land high-paying clients, but there's no specificity to what that means to me.
Yeah. And now for the first time, we've included the secret to landing an endless stream of clients and reaching your income goals.
This is not true.
Yeah.
The CCC was built to do that from the... Anyway.
So, Alex, what would you say about this email?
You need to scrap this and start from scratch. One, you need to understand the product you're writing for. Two, you need to have more respect for the message matching that needs to happen, so your message is congruent between the email and the sales page. And three, you need to actually be thinking about, okay, the person I'm writing to here, how can I grab their attention immediately? Disrupt. How can I intrigue them? How can I get them to click? C. I almost feel like there's no point in me saying anything new, because you just need to watch the rest of the stuff we've just reviewed to understand what DIC actually is and why it works.
Yep. Good advice. All right. And then the final
last one. Oh, okay. All right. I got this one.
Hold on. Let me make sure I ignore below.
Ignore below.
All right. I will.
I will always listen to what's written on a Google Doc.
Okay. How we're selling it, who's buying it, how do we appeal to them?
I hate that you have numbers for your indented bullet there. That's confusing the hell out of me. 112131415161. Anyway, subject line: copy that was hacked.
Ooh.
Okay, I like that. Hey, Joseph here. Who the fuck's Joseph? Oh wow, whoa! I like it. See, that immediately made me go who the fuck's Joseph? I am not a member of Copy That, so what's going on? Let me explain. A year ago, I watched Alex's free 5-hour copywriting course on YouTube, and immediately jumped on their email list. I was eager to learn copywriting to quit my current job and supplement it with a full-time copywriting career, but I was struggling. In fact, I jumped on a lot of copywriting guru email lists. I was even on a sales. Do you want to say something, Sean?
Oh, I'm loving this so far.
Yeah, I was even on a sales call where one guru pitched me $5,000 for a copywriting course, which I gave him a big fat no. I didn't trust him. When I pressed him for questions about how he started his copywriting career, he told me the same old outreach methods that everyone else was using. And he pressed me with tons of urgency and promises, and I didn't want that. I knew that if I mastered copywriting first, then the money would come later. After consuming many gurus' free content, the only copywriters I trusted was Copy That. When I was ready to get more serious about copywriting, here is where I started. Click here if you want to get serious too. Have a great week. Joseph. P.S. Okay, they weren't actually hacked. I paid Copy That to personally mentor me, and they allowed me to send you an email. Meta. P.P.S. But seriously, click here if you're ready to take your copywriting to the next level. Now, I know we like this, but I have one gripe that I need to address.
Knock it out.
I like this email. I do not feel that is congruent with where it's going. Because you have basically kind of said, here is where I started, and then the next thing they're going to see is a big quote from me saying, could you land your next client in the next 30 days? You need a bit more context around what you're sending to, just to pre-frame what they're about to see. It can be as simple as saying, I know, you can even reveal, I quite like the PS at the bottom, actually, saying, I actually know I paid Copy That to do the mentoring. My point is just saying here's a message from Alex, or here's something that Alex wrote to show exactly how they're doing this for other copywriters or whatever. I've already benefited. Click here to see a message from Alex that explains exactly how their Copy That are doing it for more copywriters. That just allows me to then frame into the page of, okay, I understand this is a message from Alex now telling me about how they're going to do this. I like this email though.
Now this is a great example of coming at a problem laterally and using a different angle and a different approach to everybody else and using that to disrupt and get attention. And Here's the thing, though. Like, the fact that it's coming from a copy that customer makes it more credible.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I would run this as is, but I do think, Joseph, that you could do better with some pre-framing around here, just to get people so that when they click here, it's not a surprise or a shock. But that's going to be like super thin brush strokes of writing, like maybe half of a sentence that you need to add. He says it's a true story too.
You know what else I'd put? PPPS. This is a true story. Like, I know that it seems a bit comical, but to be honest with you, like, it almost feels like this is a bit of a caricature thing up to this point. Like, oh, maybe it's us writing it. Obviously, it's not. PPS or PPPS. Like, by the way, this is a 100% true story. Or you just saying that. Like, because you're going with. Look, he's already doing it. This is a really interesting angle. It's very different, and you did the small things right. Like, it was actually attention grabbing. It was disrupting. You even made me go, "Who the fuck is Joseph?" before I read the next line.
Yeah.
Like, in my head, I know the readers won't necessarily think the same thing, but in my head, I was like, "Oh, has he forgot to put our names instead of his?" So, like, a reader's also gonna be like, "Whoa, who's Joseph?" You know. So, I like this. I would be happy to. Again, I'm not saying it can't be tightened in certain areas, perhaps, like all copy can, but I'd definitely be happy to run this as is.
Yeah, same. No, this was one of my favorite ones so far. Mm-hmm. And again, it was just it's looking at what everybody else is doing and looking at the problem and then approaching it from a different angle, and that's very strong. And again, it's like using a small idea to arrive at a broader, bigger conceit. And we've talked about that a few times over the course of the stream. That I think, you know, if you're a lift writer, like, these are things that you want to have as like arrows in your quiver, and different ways of getting attention that are unusual and out of the norm. Now, we've gotten this question again. I've already explained the answer. Like, I already gave my explanation. So relax. Your opinion on this. Client was doing one email per 30 to 60 days, has a decent volume list, sending first a personal toned email with no graphics announcing the start of campaigns, obviously packed nicely, value pro, hoping to achieve tidying up the list and save.
Dude, you've hit you've hit the fucking mother load. I can tell you that. They're doing 7 figures. They have an existing list, which I'm assuming is all previous buyers, and they only send an email currently once every month to 2 months. Like, fucking hell, man. Segment the shit out of that, first of all. Even just by, okay, who's a buyer, who signed up for discounts, or wherever the traffic drivers to that list are. Uh-huh. Segment by buyers, recent buyers, people who have bought more than once. Have a look at who's not a customer yet. Just get those into nicely fashioned segments. You don't even need to worry about too much, like, what have people bought yet. Great if you can, but just doing that for a starter is absolutely fine. Mm-hmm. Then all you need to do is ask the client, what are you happy to sell? Is there anything in particular? Is there an offer that we can run right now? Is there anything that's like that you want to get rid of? Is there any dead stocks out there that we just want to make money on? Hopefully they'll say, oh yeah, well, we can do a 20% discount on this. You're at the perfect time of year because you're fucking seasonal. So holidays, you can call it a New Year sale. You can say like anything, again, give any kind of justification. So just saying like how 2025, you can even just say like 2025 is the year of the Sapphire or something, is like our year of the Sapphire. So we're kicking off with like a big discount on these. It's only until like this stock lasts because obviously this is a precious stone and it's it's not going to lose value, etc., etc. Obviously make sure they're happy with the tone of voice and thing, but I'm going to give you the more sales ways to do it first of all. Kick that off like this month, saying right before 2025 it's X% off. You can even be honest, like, it's not going to come in time for Christmas, so why not surprise them like afterwards as like a New Year gift, kick it off right, or just for yourself. Blah, blah, blah. Then kick up those emails to 1 a week. There's nothing wrong with sending, like, that shouldn't scare the client it probably will scare the client, but like 1 email a week is still nothing, right? You know, I work with brands that send 5 emails a week. All right, one email a week is 5 times fewer than loads of other brands, but you're going to see that every time you send an email, you make sales. And then you can start to test running to different products. You can start testing different bundles. You can start testing also just running value emails. I'm not saying everyone has to be a sales email, but like start engaging that list more. Start with a decent offer so you get good clicks and you get a happy list who are re-engaged, and then just start filtering it out, and you will make a lot more money if they're already doing 7 figures. Like that, those are the kind of clients that I used to search for and then I used to kill for, because it's so easy to make more money for people when you have a list that isn't very engaged, and it's already a proven business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but yeah.
Now, do you guys notice how much more excited he gets when we talk about e-com brands and e-com opportunities than about info products, even one that he himself created?
I'm sorry. I don't like doing info. I like physical goods. I like things I can hold and then businesses can send me. I've had so many offers for like the brands I've consulted with. So for you guys who, I don't know if anyone's familiar with this, I'm oh yeah, no, you're welcome, Silver Lining. Sorry, I forgot I was actually answering a question there and not just going off on one in my head. Yeah, hopefully that's useful. But I work for a brand. I'm a mentor at a brand called Daily Mentor, who do we basically do consulting for e-com businesses who are earning more than 7 figures a year. So I've consulted with, I don't know, probably like 60 brands, I guess, since I've kind of joined there. I've probably called about 50, 60 brands. And it's super interesting, and like it's so fun, and so many of them have offered me samples of what they do. Like I've been offered samples of like bath mats, of like different protein powders, a car tracking alarm thing, and also, God, they're desperate for copywriters, and that's something we've talked about it before, Sean. But it's definitely something that I'm gonna set up with them.
Yeah, I was at the an Alex Hormozy acquisition.com scaling workshop, and I was there with, it was about 100 other businesses. There are 2 common complaints every single one of them is dealing with. One, almost every single one of them who was talking about it mentioned how AI was failing them, how they tried it. They tried to make it work. It didn't work. AI, it's not going to cut it. And 2, they are hungry, hot and horny for copywriters or people that can help them get their messaging out there at a greater volume and with greater intensity. And it's one of those things where a lot of these businesses didn't even know that like a copywriter was like what they were looking for.
Yeah.
But they all understand that they need more words that sell the things that they have to sell.
Yeah. 80% of the conversations I've had with those brands, and these e-commerce brands, have been, can you help with our copy and creative, because it's really slowing down, like our Facebook ads aren't doing that well, or like, you know, the scripts just aren't working, we have no idea where to start. And I say, okay, here's an ideation process for you to shortcut all this stuff. They go, oh my God, this is amazing, that's great. And then they ask me, do you think we need a copywriter like to write this stuff because we're not the best? I'm like, yes. You know, or they say, do you think we need someone in to help? You know, they won't even necessarily use the word copywriter. And I'll say like, yes, you need a copywriter. And then they'll go, do you know any copywriters? And I'm like, yes, but they're all busy now because I've referred like the 6 or 7 people who I am comfortable referring are all working for other brands in Daily Mentor now. And like, I don't know if you saw my post in the Copywriting Collective earlier, Sean, but like, or yesterday, there are two or three brands right now who are literally jumping down my throat. Like I've said no to a few because I said, oh, I don't really have anyone I'm comfortable referring right now, and they've stopped. There are 2 or 3 who keep messaging me and are saying like, do you have a copywriter yet? Is there going to be one ready in January 2025? So when copywriters come to me and they're like, oh, there's no clients or there's not work, especially when they're talking about, oh, I've heard e-commerce isn't very good for copywriting or finding clients, I'm just like, that is just not true. They are desperate. They are absolutely desperate. So absolutely one of the things I want to do with Copy That is start referring good copywriters to these brands.
You know, it's almost like I wish we had a boot camp of like, I don't know, between 20 and 22 people where we can be like, listen, you know, e-com brand, like all the A-lists, they're busy right now, but I do have a few mentees that are very hungry for work. Would you be willing to work with them? And then you post it up in the boot camp chat.
That may well be happening, but maybe I'm waiting till they've seen my e-commerce modules in the bootcamp because I want to get to that point before I start referring anyone.
You better fucking claim. Listen, I'm designing this bootcamp like 2 weeks ahead as we're going, and slots are filling up. So you better like plant your flag and claim a week.
Oh shit! Have I got to do that?
Soon.
I've made like 3 videos so far. Obviously, I had a gap, but I know what I'm gonna finish. But yeah, I will do that. I'm also definitely just gonna. One thing I've noticed, going back to info, I know I need to start making myself a bit more of like, a person online who's like, oh yeah, shit, he does this thing. And I think just the e-com copywriter, like e-commerce copywriting person, it's just such an easy one to fill right now because like I'm already being known as that, and so many people are desperate for it, and there's so much bad advice for e-commerce copywriting. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, have you studied Zarek? I think.
Yeah, I know of him. You've referred me to him before, like to have a look at him.
Like of all the sort of bro-y young copywriters out there, like I appreciate his stuff quite a bit, and he runs an agency that focuses on helping e-commerce businesses. There's some stuff like I would say 20% of it where I'm just like, okay, he's a young idiot, but the other 80% I was like, okay, spot on. This is an intelligent kid with a very, very bright future. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know a few like e-com agencies now who are doing like well, who I've also kind of met through Daily Mentor. But yeah, there's so much work there right now. And like the one I'm specializing in at the moment, and I've done a lot more of, is just e-com VSLs and e-com video ads, and like the last 2 months especially, I've done so many of those.
Yeah.
But anyway.
There's people are hungry for it, and it really does come down to the fact that like it's because the tools like Meta, Instagram, like they allow you to easily test not 2 things against each other, but 10 things against each other. And you get so much more information about like your customers and what they click on so much faster, but also like creative fatigues very, very fast on social media, like incredibly fast. Which means you need to have a constant churn of new creative coming out every single week. So,
yeah, one of the people I referred, I don't know if he's got the client yet. I think it was yesterday, so I haven't spoken to him since. But like, he's just quoted either a 5K retainer package or a 10K retainer package. Like he's given 2 options just to come up with like creatives every month, and it's like, like that's we literally just had that question. Can you, explain what to offer for a client to make him retainer? Like exactly if it's ads, for example, it's exactly that. It's like, here is a continuous stream of creatives and ad scripts and ad copy that you can test to make sure you don't suffer ad fatigue on Facebook. Like, there you go. That's a retainer offer. Zarek has been preaching about cold traffic being the sort of linchpin in every business needs to scale. How do you guys feel about the approach he's been taking?
I mean, it's true. Like,
yeah, like, again,
all online businesses have 2 functions: acquiring customers and monetizing customers. If you aren't acquiring customers, you won't monetize those customers. Like, obviously, there are indirect ways. Like, you can do like co-reg deals or like affiliate deals, like list rentals and stuff like that, where you monetize like somebody else's list. But leaving aside the fancy marketing mumbo jumbo, like every business needs those 2 main functions: acquisition, monetization. You cannot scale your business unless you have a steady stream of new people coming in, cold traffic, people that are not familiar with your shit, who become familiar with your shit. So he's spot on there. Again, like I said, 80% of the shit that he says is absolutely spot on. So.
Yeah, and it's the same reason, like, especially, if he's focusing on e-com, there's a reason that makes sense, is because e-com can so often afford to be a bit more brazen with cold traffic because the return is usually instant. it's you click an ad and you go to a product page and you can monetize them pretty instantly. Whereas info, like they need to be super fucking dialed in on like increasing AOV, average order value, whenever someone clicks purchase. They need to make sure the back end is super dialed in to make sure that once you get someone, you should be cranking up that lifetime value as much as possible. I'm not saying e-com businesses shouldn't be doing that; they absolutely should be, but it's far more reasonable to expect an e-com business can monetize cold traffic quickly, because introducing a product to someone is usually quite an easy thing to do. So yeah, definitely agree. What would you suggest where to approach ecom clients? All the ones I work with are acquaintances. I've had great success so far. If you've had great success with ecom businesses so far, like you're standing in great stead, because you can point at results and say, I've done all this stuff for other people now. I mean, the easiest ways is firstly, the easiest way, depending on how like morally okay you are with this, is go to competitors in industries you've already worked with and you say, hey, I've worked in this industry before, like I know it, I have had all these results. You don't have to name who you've worked for specifically, you can if you want, and just say, I'd love to do the same for you. Boom. That's really easy, really, really easy. You can just go on websites like Store Leads. You can go on like MyIP. .ms, I think, where you can just effectively type in like Shopify as the hosting platform and see like every single store that's hosted on Shopify. You can also just pick a niche that you really want to work in within e-commerce, Google it, and then look at stores. I guarantee you that 80% of them will not have great marketing, and you can very easily go in and do what you're doing for this jewelry brand, like we spoke about earlier. How much should a beginner copywriter charge for emails, and how much commission should they charge for sales generated?
Oh, I mean, listen, it's very rare for businesses to give a commission to email copywriters. And in fact, like for most businesses, it would be a very stupid thing to do, just because it's so hard to keep track of all the copywriters writing all the different emails. And it's very rare that like the 99% of emails you're only going to run once. So like, unless the deal is like you get a commission of like how many sales this email generates, and that's all we're paying you, most email copywriters don't get a commission ever. Some copywriters, like especially if they are your more conventional like campaign writer, like they'll write the sales letter, the VSL script, the order form, the upsells, the downsells, the confirm pages, and the emails. Well, then you get a commission based on the sales that come through that campaign, that promotion, which means it makes sense for you to write emails, because for every sale that promotion generates, you get more money. That's how you would get those sorts of commissions for emails. But most businesses should not pay copywriters commissions, period. It's just such a stupid thing. As far as how much to charge for an individual email, if you have no clients before, charge between $25 and $50 per email. But here's an offer that I've helped a few people put together that worked to great success. They charge that $35 to $60 per email, 25 to 50, 35 to 60, whatever. And then they say, but if this email generates more than a 20% click-through rate and X number of sales, the number of sales changes depending on the price of the product, then you pay me a $250 bonus. And I've had a few copywriters work for businesses that I've worked with that actually did earn that bonus. And so it's a way to avoid the sort of like accounting bullshit that goes into tracking commissions, which there's a lot of accounting bullshit there. And instead being like simple flat fee plus a bonus if I hit these KPIs. Boom, done. That's an offer. It's great. But as you start to, it depends on the email that you make and things like that. Obviously, for a one-off email, you're not going to charge much. But if you're planning a sequence, or you're doing a full campaign or a series of emails, or you're on retainer, you would want to charge a little bit more, and you would want to make the client feel like they're getting a discount. Like normally I charge $60 per email as a one-off, but today you get 5 emails for this amount, and obviously that's $20 less than what you would pay for if you bought these emails individually. Things like that. There's a lot of things that you can do in terms of offer creation.
Yeah. Agree. What about emails and sales pages? Is there any way we can do something on this for retainer? Yes, absolutely. Like emails for the same reason as we spoke about ads, like they generate traffic and people, or they generate leads to go to a certain page. They're sending people somewhere. They're needed all the time, so it makes sense. Sales pages on retainer is, I would say, less common, but again, like product pages on retainer, I definitely know of that. Brands who put in more SKUs, so more items to their store, like they often have to write new product pages and descriptions. So I know of copywriters who are on retainer for that. So like, yes, absolutely. Personal question time. What's your guys' proudest project? A single ad, a single landing page, or whatever besides copy that? That's an interesting question. Proudest project.
If this person had not specified a single ad or a single landing page or whatever, I probably would have talked about the Japanese business. Like, I helped that business grow from basically nothing. Like with
I think you can talk about that.
I'm fulfilling like 5 newsletters for them and, reports, and I'm both a guru and a copy consultant and a marketing consultant, all these different things. And also a business consultant as well. And like, that business has grown from basically zero all the way to like something like $20 million a year. And built off of like just blood, sweat, and tears, and Mark Ford's content and my content and a whole bunch of shit. So I'm very proud of that trajectory of that business. But if I had to identify a single ad, it would be probably my 7-day stock market glitch sales letter that I wrote with Evaldo chiefing me, because it took me 8 months to write. It was a very long process. I wrote that shit while I was getting divorced, and so like it was a miracle that it got written to begin with. Secondly, like for a lot of the testing and like the proof points and stuff like that, like I had to figure out how to code Python. I had to like there was so much work that went into that and so much effort to produce the end product. And the end product was really unique and really special. And like it landed at the exact right moment too. Like right before, like 3 months before COVID hit, like the marketer of the business that put out the sales letter, like he literally reached out to me at the end of 2021. And he didn't say, your sales letter saved the business. Your sales letter was the business in this year. And I was very, very proud of that. That was like my moment where I was just like, it wasn't just like, okay, I'm competent at this. It was okay, I'm really good at this moment. So
yeah, I think in a similar vein, like my proudest project or whatever isn't the one that made the most money. I think my proudest one, the one I kind of look back at and I go like, yeah, I did a good thing there, was and it's one I talked about in the 5-hour video, so it was a long time ago now, but like was the pub supply business, where their business had been decimated by COVID, like absolutely destroyed. They went down to like £800 a month is what they were like selling. It's like nothing. They were in masses of debt, and I basically just did everything on it. I was even talking about like stock and like talking to suppliers and just shit I shouldn't have been doing as like the person who was like the director of marketing. But I pretty much rebuilt the list, like built the lead magnets. I built a ton of bonuses for it. I redid all the copy. I worked in conjunction with my like designer and website builder to make it so much better. Wrote tons of product descriptions, wrote a ton of B2B emails as well to like get some suppliers like on board with us. So it was B2C and B2B. I was doing fucking everything. I did so much. And I wasn't being paid like that much for it to begin with, because I was getting a revenue share. So the first like month or whatever, and this is when I was trying to freelance. I was trying to balance all this stuff. I was working on it more than anything else, and it was paying me the least. And I was just like, oh God, like, I don't know if I can keep doing this, but I kept doing it. And after like 2 months, we just started going up. And then when I left the brand, I think we just hit like £38,000 a month, which again is not like, it's not much compared to the business I've done since and I've earned for myself. But like to go from like 800 to like 38 grand for this business and this guy who owned the business who was basically almost destitute after COVID, like that felt awesome. You know, that was really good, and they're still up and running and they're still doing well. So that's probably the one I'm proudest of. In terms of ad or specific thing, I don't know. There's so many. I really like the email sequence an email sequence I did for my beef jerky brand, which was I think the headline, I always fuck up the exact wording, but it was effectively just saying, I've talked about it earlier, in fact, Sean, when we were on with David Deutsch. Like it was like forget the fluff, or like forget the BS. This is just protein, you know, and like that sequence of emails, like from the founder. And it was just talking about like the quality of the beef and why we have so much protein in it, and just denouncing like other protein powders and bars, and just being like, look, they all go on about this. It's like, no, just get proper meat into your body because it's all you need. Don't pay over the price, blah, blah, blah. That was probably the proudest kind of ad I had, was that sequence, because it did really well. Anyway.
Nice. I like sharing those sorts of stories, details from our career. Like, I do feel like you and I have, and Lindsey and Rod too, have like a unique set of wins under us, like, and that we're still accumulating because we're still like active in this career that a lot of other people doing this don't really have. So
yeah, definitely. I think like, you know, the whole guru, I tend not to like to slag off gurus too much. Like, I don't mind slagging them off as a group and kind of being like, oh, I hate when people say this. I really don't like looking at individuals and going like, oh, this person's this person's that. One thing that I will say though, and I do acknowledge certainly, and I am proud of with us, is that we are, people can say whatever the hell they want about us. Like, they really can say anything, and they really, like, some of it might be true, some of it might not be true. Like, we can feel offended, whatever. And to be fair, it hasn't really happened. But, like, my point is, like, they could say stuff. But the thing that I would always be extremely like, yeah, but it's the fact that we have so much experience. And I can sit here and list off every business I've worked with. I get a ton of testimonials from actual real clients, not mentees that I've trained. Actual client businesses who would say, oh yeah, Alex saved the business. Like, oh yeah, he brought us in like an extra $1 million. And like, you know, contacts like Unilever and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, he introduced us to this thing or like this concept. And I have so many of those in so many industries and businesses. Like, you can't fake it. And I feel like that's what a lot of other gurus are gonna struggle with, is just when people question their authenticity, it's very easy to see, oh, you don't actually have a history of any of this stuff, you know? So like, again, it's like, Zarak, who you mentioned, like, again, I don't know him, but like, it seems like he has an actual agency that's actually doing stuff that he can clearly point to and say, well, yeah, look, there's a whole agency with loads of clients. I respect the hell out of people like that who haven't just immediately come up and gone, hey, I'm just going to sell a copywriting course.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are you qualified to talk about any of this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you in that sense.
Let's rock the Kabza in the chat.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, really good. I was for a minute there, I was like, hey, he mucked that up. I can take the piss out of him. And then I was like, oh no, I can't. He was making a joke. As a new copywriter, should I be cold emailing prospects or generating a list from content and email those people? I just go straight for it. I never generate a list of my own. I never put out free content to try and like build a brand or attract customers. You don't need to. I would just go straight for it. Yeah,
just go straight for customers. The one exception to that I've heard was there was a copywriter and he focused on SEO. I mean, so it makes sense that he would generate content and then email people that he was able to attract, because obviously like that attraction process is a proof point in and of itself. What he did was he did a case study, and it was something like how HubSpot like monetizes their clients or something like that. And he just like explained like the process. And then he used that case study as a proof point for getting clients. But guess how he got most of those clients? He cold emailed them and pointed them to his case study. Mm-hmm. So it's not an either or thing as well.
Yeah. Hello, any tips for the research process is what I struggle with most. How can I speed it up? I'm just going to say, first of all, like, we have whole videos on this. I would really recommend going and watch those videos, because what we say now within a minute of answering is not going to be as good as that. So go to the YouTube channel, type in our search bar, in the Copy That channel's search bar, research, and I think we have a ton of videos on it. I think we had a long stream on it as well, which might be in the live tab, maybe.
But we also have like the big free courses coming out in like January, I hope. We'll see how it goes.
Maybe February.
My sales letter. I actually started working on an annotated version of that for our paid members. Maybe I'll finish that sometime in 2025, and then it will exist. But no, like sales letters, especially promotions, like they're designed to exist for a short period of time. They are literally promotions. They're not supposed to exist forever. It's not like a sales page or like an evergreen, product page. Sales letters and promotions, like they exist until their deadline is up and until they fatigue, and then you take them down so that there's a specialness to it. So right now it's not up anywhere, but I will make sure to share that copy with paying members at some point soon.
How do you offer ads? Do you offer like per ad set, $100, or do you charge $100 until you find the ad that works?
This dude needs to watch my offer creation masterclass.
Yeah, I think you should go and watch a lot of our beginner stuff as well on our 101 series. But like, so for example, just to give you a concrete answer, just really quickly, like if I'm working for a brand and they want me to write, say, Facebook ads for them, I will sell that in packages. I'll say I'll write you like 10. So I don't even know what my rates for that are. I'd say like, right, if you want 10 video scripts for ads, for Facebook ads, then like that might be, I don't know, say $5,000 or something for those 10 ads, 10 variations of scripts. That doesn't include like, I'll do a few different hooks as well for each, but that's because obviously my rate is a bit higher. So that I would usually charge it in a package of ads because the whole point would be that they're testing as many ads as they can. But again, people do it differently. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
When writing practice pieces, we should obviously be doing research on the project, but as Alex knows, the sticky research process is very long. So what is the most important pieces of research to do? We've spoken about this a few times, which is that, adjust how much you do to how important the project is. Like if you want to write the best piece of copy for your practice project, do all the research. Do all of the research that you need to do within that market for that target audience, So there's no getting around it. Like, I would kind of argue that if it's a practice piece, like, I would be investing a lot of time into practice pieces because I want to practice, so I probably would do the full research just to even practice the research process myself. So what it kind of reads to me is like you're kind of trying to shortcut it, and I would say don't shortcut it. Like, it's meant to take very long, and if you've never done it before, like fully, do it fully, and then you will be able to tell, oh, what did and didn't I need to do? Like, what research did I actually end up using in the final piece of copy? I think you need to do the full thing first that I lay out in the 5-hour video, see how it translates to copy for you, and then work it out from there. Because if you haven't done it fully yet, I would say you just need to bite the bullet and get on with it and do it. Anything to add to that, Sean? We're good. Oh, the snacks business, you were showing it beforehand. It was great. Thank you. What's the hierarchy / layout in copy? That is Sean the founder. Are you all the founders? How did that all happen? I'm the only one who's not technically a founder. All the others are like actual purebloods. Do you want to go over the creation?
So, around, I want to say, was it late 2021? Was it 2021 or 2022? Or was it 2020? I think it was late 2021. I was in the process of launching a business and I needed to train writers, and like I needed to train them fast. And so I needed a couple of things. I needed a repository of writers and I needed to be able to train them. And so I found the Copywriting Collective through Reddit and stuck around because, this is an interesting bunch of people who are funny and smart and like willing to do the work, and they seem amenable to the knowledge that I have and am willing to share. So I started sharing knowledge, and I started like making videos for people on my team and for people in the Discord. And one thing happened, a couple of my acquaintances, and I started streaming as well, like actually just live streaming, like me reviewing emails or me reviewing this or like me actually writing a thing. It was all very rough. Because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like I've never filmed anything before, and I noticed that two other members of the Copywriting Collective, Luke and Rod, were all like they were getting together to like they were separately streaming like their sales letter reviews. And I was like, why do many things when one thing is better? And so I asked if they wanted to like get on stream together and like start reviewing copy together. And reviewing copy turned into sharing lessons and knowledge. And Alex was one of our first guests, like, to talk about e-commerce copy. I think the audio on that particular video is terrible. We got John to give a couple of guest masterclasses that are still some of our most popular videos. And yeah, like it just grew and grew from there. And like, I think it was at the end of 2022. Was it 2022 or 2021? It was one of those 2 years where like I was like, listen, we're either going to treat this like a real business or we're going to stop doing this. Because at that point, like I was the one fronting all of the money for it. Like hosting a website, streaming software, the Zoom membership, all of it was me paying for it. And we weren't earning anything because we weren't trying to monetize really aggressively. And so everybody decided, well, let's double down and take it very seriously. We brought on Alex. Like I incorporated it as a partnership between 4 different partners. One of the partners being a business that I co-own with Lindsey, which is how she was sort of like backdoor snuck in. And yeah, and then it was Alex, Rod, Luke, and me, the 5 of us, working for about a year. And what we would do is we would do these long live streams, like, videos where we just like no YouTube fanciness. We would just get on stream and just talk. Like there's a few live videos, like, if you go back, that you'll see that it's very rough, but it's really just like us, like it's like a podcast almost. But like we're just like, here's everything we know about holiday campaigns. Things like, here's everything we know about this thing. And then we started to try to monetize it, and we gained a little bit of traction. We gained a little bit more traction, and like we started making more dedicated paid content, and eventually we got better at the YouTube thing. Well, some of us did anyway.
Sean, don't talk about yourself like that. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm still working on it, man. I'm still terrible at. It's one of those things where it's like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And then yeah, it just grew from there. So like, if you want to like look at the contract, like the way the business is structured, like I'm sort of the active manager, though that's like shifted. We've voted on how it's shifted over time for various emergencies or different purposes or things like that. But right now I'm sort of like the acting CEO. Alex is the sort of like acting CMO. Like Lindsey and Rod are basically like acting as like a sort of like indirect consultants, because they're just so busy with their own stuff right now that it's really just Alex and me driving it. Luke stepped away from the business to work on his own stuff, and so we paid him out. There you go. That's it. That's the full story of Copy That.
Yeah, that's basically it, and it's good fun. And good fun. I feel like we won't. I'm going to skip ahead a few questions. We'll come back to answer the other ones, but it just leads on quite nicely. Copy That. Where do you see your career heading in 5 years' time? By which I assume you mean, where is Copy That going to be in 5 years' time? What do you foresee, Sean?
That's a very good question. One thing that I would like to do, one thing that I'm seeing with this boot camp, and it really depends on like everybody's outcomes and how everybody likes it. But this live teaching, rather than like shilling courses, like this actual like live, like interactive, yes, is expensive, but also like you get access to things that you would not normally have access to. Like that's invaluable. And then also like I've been going to a lot more live events and seminars. Like I would love to do something like that. That's amazing. It's so fun. And so I would love to put on like a big, like dialed in live event that people are willing to like spend a lot of money on because they know they're going to get very good value out of it. So
yeah, like I definitely see, we obviously we treat this as a business now and it makes money. And like, there's a few things that we as a group have decided that we're never going to shift on, which is like, our ethical considerations of selling to newbies, for example, is something we're not going to shift on. I can't see us in the future changing our stance on like, no, like if you haven't got the money, you shouldn't spend money. That's always going to be there. But like, I think that definitely things that I want to do more of are just trying to manage this alongside what I do. I never want to lose that live aspect of actually owning and running other businesses, because I think once you go all in on the guru thing, and you're not like consulting with regular businesses, or you're not doing your own businesses, then like you just lose that sharpness, So I would never want to go all in. Like, I do want to go all in, but not like so it's the only thing I'm doing, if you see what I mean. But definitely I can see us having a few core products, which are what we push people to. But then, as you say, having like the boot camps where we're actually trying to give people something that it's not just, a quick purchase and then they feel a bit good about themselves for a while and then they move on. I actually want to change people's lives, and I actually want to say, right, here's the shit that we do, and now let us give you opportunities to make more money from it, Mm-hmm. Like, let's get you into real businesses. So I really like the idea of doing like a referral thing where we can actually refer them to businesses.
I would love to do that. Yeah. And again, I think you and I are I mean, the reason why the four of us are business partners is we're very ethically and value aligned. Lindsey is definitely the most heartless. She's just like, let's monetize people. Let's go.
She's like, screw those newbies. Quick, push them out something they don't need.
Charge more. God damn it.
She's not like that. Don't worry.
She's not like that at all. She's very sweet. But also she's just like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. We have been 2025, I think, is going to be a very, very good year for us. I mean, like, I've upped everything. Do you like my background, by the way? I haven't spoken about it yet.
I love it, but somebody at some point is going to comment on that big cardboard cutout of yourself.
I thought that was such a good idea. I was like, what can I have in the back? I was like, definitely a plant, because he said, and then for context, Sean and I both watched a course about how to kind of set up a background to be a bit nicer. So I've got like lighting down there. I mean, none of the lighting's on right now, but I've got lighting down there by the plant. I've got like a lamp that doesn't have a bulb in it right now, but it will at some point. And then just kind of some nice background stuff. And I was like, I want to have something that represents copy that is big enough and stupid enough to be in the background, that kind of shows we don't take things too seriously. And I really like the anime thing, so I thought of getting a big canvas of the four of us in anime style behind me. But then I don't even know why I thought of it, but I was just like, a big cardboard cutout anime persona of me right there would be awesome. So that's what I did. And at least when people log on to one of our videos now, they know that they're not getting toxic, serious, professional assholes. I have one more thing coming for my room, which is a framed ad, which I thought I need to keep it slightly professional, so I'm getting a framed ad up there.
That's pretty dope, actually. I actually just ordered a custom neon DIY wealth sign.
I was gonna do that. I was gonna get, and I was like, do I have copy that in the background? But then like, what if I'm not doing copy that stuff? I gotta move it all the time. That's awesome. I might get an ecom one or copy or something like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna look really good.
Kill your babies.
Kill your babies, I might have, yeah. And then I thought I was debating whether I should have that back there, because I've invested like, I don't know, probably a couple of grand so far just on like all this new stuff. Like, I've got a few other bits. Obviously, I'm gonna get the lighting with copy that money, cha-ching. But like, I was debating whether or not to have my hobby normal stuff in the background, or whether to keep that completely separate. But we were discussing, like, I think having your persona be the real you and not trying to hide that stuff, I think is just nicer. It's less draining. So I just thought, oh fuck it, I'll just have the stuff up I'd usually have up. But I hope people don't like zoom in, is the only thing, because there's some book titles down there, that one of which you bought me. You know what it is.
Oh, I know.
People are going to be screenshotting now, aren't they? Should hide. There we go. That's better.
No, your resolution is not high enough. Nobody's going to read it.
Good. Anyway, should we go back to the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. We'll finish up, and then in the next 14 minutes, and then we'll let everybody go.
Yeah. Any tips for some brand besides basic nutritional benefits facts? I feel like I answer this question like every month. Like, I feel like we get a lot of people ask about this. I have tons of tips, but I'm going to give you one overarching one, which is like, go to the biggest supplement brands in the space. Go to Happy Mammoth, go even to like Gundry MD, like people who are selling, health products and supplement products and things like that. go to I can't remember the name of the brand, the creatine gummies guys. I can't remember what they're called. Those are all brands I know do well. Those are all brands that have pretty good creatives. Go and have a look at what they're doing and swipe it for yourselves. I could do a 3-hour video on how to sell supplements and what kinds of things to consider, as I'm sure Sean could as well. But like, it's too much to go into all that right now. So go and see what the best in the business are doing and like reverse engineer that. See if you can do it for yourself.
My big comment for that is because again, I can talk about selling supplements for hours and hours, and I'm just going to put it to you this way, which is supplements are a product, and any product is either a vitamin or a painkiller. And here's the thing: it's very hard to sell vitamins, to sell improvement, especially improvement that you can't really tangibly feel. But guess what? Everybody can feel and see the outcomes and effects of a painkiller. And so you want your supplements to be framed more as painkiller than a vitamin, even if they're vitamins.
Yeah. Good advice. Other than time deadlines and limited quantities, what to do for inducing same urgency like both of them? The fear of losing out is not working that much. So, in other words, how do you invoke urgency instead of deadlines and limited quantities? I mean, in essence, those two things, the only things I would suggest after that like would just be offshoots of those things, because effectively, when it comes to urgency, the only things are you're going to miss out on an offer or you're not going to be able to buy it anymore. And there are offshoots of that of saying there's reasons for it, i.e., like it's the last pallet, e.g. this is going out of stock, we're not going to be doing it anymore, we've had a disagreement with the supplier. Deadlines are because, it's only a holiday sale, or like prices are going up, as in like, supply and ingredient prices are going up, so we can only offer it at this price for that much longer. Or saying more stuff is being added to the offer, so this is the, like we do that quite a lot. More stuff's going to be added, so we do effectively a price hike campaign. There aren't really any other concepts that can breed urgency. Do you see what I mean? It's just how you frame those main concepts. I hope that makes sense.
There's a lot of subtle ways to build urgency. Like, here's one that I actually learned from Jules Bonner, the son of Bill Bonner. He would talk about big ideas or things happening in the world as saying, like, listen, this is going to impact you whether you take advantage of this offer or not. So you might as well take advantage of this offer so that you can actually be on the right side of this, whatever event is happening. And that creates urgency. That creates this sort of impetus to act now.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, it's too easy to ignore things. And you can certainly build urgency and scarcity without a deadline or a limited quantity. But you need to have the right idea and you need to frame it appropriately. So,
yeah, agree. That could be about either of us. So I'm going to say yes. No question, just thanking you for reminding me to just do the work. I was sparring that you just need to do the thing. That's it. Look, I'm in a similar position at the moment where I've got a lot of stuff going on, and like occasionally I'm just like, oh my god, right, okay, got it. And the thing that always gets me out of it is just do it. Just do the thing. Just start doing it and you'll get through it. So I understand. What do you think of copywriters who buy Lambos, Rolexes, or whatever? Is that actually possible? I see online there are copywriters who brag a lot, but I see a lot of copywriters who don't show anything.
Here's my question about this, Alex.
Yes.
I see online that there are copywriters who brag a lot, but I see a lot of copywriters who don't show anything. Why is that? Why aren't you showing your Rolex? Why aren't you showing your Lamborghini?
It may be because instead of investing in those things, I decided to buy Warhammer figures. And look, people like to spend in different ways, and people like to enjoy themselves in different ways. And for some people, that is showing immense wealth. That's not really us, okay? I like spending money on my family. I like spending money on Warhammer. I like spending money on going to nice dinners and experiences, like, because it's more fun. And neither Sean or I feel the need to prove that we earn a lot of money, because we're not trying to convince newbies that we earn loads of money and you should listen to us because we earn money. That's the crux of it.
Why would I want a Lamborghini or a Rolex when I spend all my money on hookers and blow? Like, listen, there's
All that.
you have to have your priorities correct, guys.
Yeah, all that. I still prefer Warhammer. But yeah, so like, and also just what does that tell, C&D, like what does that tell you? The fact that a lot of people are, even there are copywriters who are bragging about it, but then a lot of copywriters who don't show anything. It may also just be because those copywriters are BSing and they need you to believe in the dream that other gurus have propped up. So you just assume anyone who goes online and says, oh yeah, I earn 10K a month, or which isn't even that much. Like it is a lot. Like when, it was a lot for me. Now that I've had like lifestyle bloat and I've got loads more responsibilities, 10K a month is like, fuck me, I could not survive on 10K a month. So like when people kind of are sitting there going, oh yeah, I earn 10K a month, so I can, mentor you how to do the same. It's 99% of the time, it's going to be absolute bullshit and they just want to get money from you, because guess what? They're only trying to earn 10K a month through teaching other people how they can earn 10K a month. Anyway, I really like how you talk about the details and concepts around copy, the businesses, so to speak. Thank you. That's something we try to do, is we always talk about the context of copy and how it's not just its own thing for the sake of it. It actually has to have an impact on real businesses. It's sad, but 90% of copywriters will be out of work in 5 years. Well, Sean, you know that there's two of us. 90% is more than 50%, which means at least one of us is going to be out of work in 5 years. And I don't know about you, but I hope that it isn't me. So, Biru, thank you for warning us. I'm going to adjust my life trajectory.
I'm staying muted right now because my daughter is crying right outside the maybe she heard my hookers and blow comment.
That's why they can't eat.
Yeah, I don't buy into the AI is going to take away copywriting jobs narrative, but I shared that story on the stream already. I don't need to rehash that. Yeah. I like really quick, just to go back to the Lambo and Rolly thing. Like, I mean, Alex, you've seen the video of where I rented the Lamborghini and like got a bunch of like supermodels to come hang out with me for a day. Like any asshole can do that. And I at one point was like, okay, I want to try this whole like trappings of wealth thing. And so I got a really expensive fancy watch. I can go buy a Rolex today, but I was like, before I commit, let me see if I even enjoy wearing a watch. And I don't enjoy wearing a watch.
Same.
I use a smartphone for everything. I don't need a fucking watch. What is the watch for? It's jewelry. And I was about to say something really crass and offensive, and I'm not going to.
Good.
I'm just going to zip it right there. And I'm going to say that, like, I don't know if it was the way I was raised or what, but like the thought of like spending that amount of money on a fucking watch is just like
stupid.
It's despicable to me. What a fucking waste. Like what a horrible, horrible thing to do. Ugh. Anyway.
Yeah. And it just, to me, often it shows, and maybe this is unfair, but like so often to me, it shows that I feel those people don't have many proper responsibilities in life. Yeah. Like, there's so many more things to spend your money on to like help people. Like I'm not even saying charity, I just mean people who are close to you, and to like put things aside and to be smart and to act as a role model, as an example. And it annoys me, Yeah. Anyway. And as sorry, go on, Sean.
No, I mean like if I want to spend a ton of money, can you hear my daughter crying in the background? Oh, she's upset. She needs a snack or something. But I was going to say that like if I want to spend $16,000 on something, I'm not going to spend it on a watch. I want to spend it on like a really cool like mahogany built-in shelf.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, like I'm trying to like put as much money aside as I can at the moment. But like I'd already bought this for moving, and this was $1,000. Like this bookshelf, or like maybe like 800 quid. So I guess $1,200 or something. And I was just like, but yeah, it was like, I just wanted one that was like super good because I'm gonna have it for a while. So I was like, yeah, like, and I have no issue like just being like, yeah, I'll spend $1,000 on that because like it's always gonna be there. It's nice. I wanted something that's good quality. I would much rather have that than like a single jacket that I'm probably only gonna wear like once a month. You know, if that's.
Yeah,
I'd rather invest in things.
yeah, like I mean, honest to God, like I was looking at a car that I could get, and I'm really excited about getting a Volvo. You know, it's like not the car that anybody expects. Like because again, like I don't, like what use do I have for like the trappings of wealth and prestige items and stuff like that? Like I'm gonna like eventually like I'd like to invest in like fine art and things like that, but
Yeah. I went to an art gallery this weekend, like not.
Oh, you fancy
I
bitch!
I didn't go there. There was one in Cambridge shopping centre, and like I was waiting. I was actually waiting for someone to come out of the toilet, so I thought I'll go in there quickly, and it's crazy. And there was some stuff in there. I was like, oh, like £700, and I was like, I would buy that. But then I'm like, am I at a point where I can justify just buying random art for the walls? I was like, not really. So even that still feels a little bit like a watch to me. I'm hoping at some point I'll be like, oh, actually no, it's quite cool. But anyway, we need to blast through these. I know I've bothered you enough. Just want to thank you again, first and foremost, so getting the best of it. Thanks, Silver. We appreciate you having you here. Lastly, do you have any quick thoughts on breakthrough advertising and overview advertising? I like both of those books. I have them both over there. Read them. There's good stuff to learn from them.
Yeah, I personally think that breakthrough advertising is not something that newbies need to read or should read because it's one of those things where it's like there are lessons in there where you're just like, unless you've been writing as a professional for a few years, a lot of stuff is not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
But then like once you've been doing it for a while, you're like, okay, I see, because you have a frame of reference. You need a frame of reference for some of the stuff that's in those more advanced books. For lesser books like Robert Bly's Copywriter's Handbook and things like that, like those are good entry level things.
Yeah, agree. Overview and advertising I actually really like. And I've never been critical of it, but I've always been like, I don't know if it's the best for direct response people to read when they're first starting. And maybe I still kind of agree with that, but it's just fun. It's a fun book to read. Like I would read that. I would recommend buying that, not to be like, okay, I need to get all the knowledge I can out of this, just to be like, let it inspire you about advertising because it's fun. It's a fun book.
Yeah. I have like 7 copies that I've been meaning to give away to Patreon subscribers, and I need to get around to that at some point.
You need to build your office first, I think.
Yeah.
Do successful copywriters like Sean and Alex offer personal mentorship, or is it not worth it?
Well, listen, we've talked about mentorship, like when you need a mentor versus when you don't need a mentor.
Yeah.
And we have a whole video about that. So if you want to, like, the worth it question, go watch that video. Do we offer it? We just launched a boot camp offer, and we tested it. And we're only letting in 20 people at a time. We let in 21 people this time because somebody really wanted to. And so we're in the middle of that right now. We just finished the first few weeks of that. And it's a 12-week program. And we're designing it on the fly. And if it works really well, we'll do it again. And if not, we'll cut it. But ultimately, like we're paying people. We're letting people run copy to like our lists. That's what this whole stream was about. And so, yeah, like in terms of like personal one-on-one mentorship, no, you couldn't pay me enough. But like as far as a boot camp goes, like I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, it's good fun. I've actually been asked by 3 different people in the last probably like 2 months, I guess, if I'm doing e-commerce mentorship now, which is something I might consider at some point, like in 2025, but purely because I view e-commerce very differently to how I view copywriting. And like I think it's something that you can teach much more easily because there are far more processes, but at the same time, like I have not given much thought to doing that right now. And I'd also need to incorporate copywriting into it somehow. And I also need to make sure it doesn't get in the way of everything else I'm doing. So like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
What else? By the way, just watched an ad by Gundry MD recently. Was wondering if the whole angle of the ad or the story of such ads afterwards is true or fake. Now, I can't really speak to it, but like everything has to be grounded in some kind of reality and some kind of truth because there are regulations they need to follow and they will get the almighty hand of the legal system upon them if they don't, especially health and financial. So there always has to be some truth to it, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it is all true, but
for stuff like this, especially like alternative health and natural health, like a lot of it is quackery, a lot of it. but like most of it is harmless quackery where it's like, again, it's like vitamins being framed as painkillers. But then there's other stuff where it's like there's some like, this is fringe, but there's credence to it. A good example of it would be Atkins. Atkins released a book based on some groundbreaking studies that were happening, and then he had a newsletter. Agora, financial newsletter publisher Agora actually published Dr. Atkins's newsletter in the early 90s. And guess what? He was routinely called a quack. He was routinely called a scammer, a spammer, etc., because he bravely came out and said, listen, the sugar is a problem. There's nobody out there in the world right now who's going to say that like Atkins or the Atkins diet, or like that notion of like reducing your sugar intake and increasing fats and proteins is bad. Like, but in the early 90s, like that was fucking fringe. Like people were like really like polarized by that notion. And so it's a sort of feather in Agora's cap where it's just like, listen, like we promote and highlight fringe voices because there has to be a place in the discourse for those fringe voices. That's what Agora is all about. Yeah. And sometimes those fringe voices fall by the wayside. Sometimes they like get pushed out because, again, there is no credence to what they're saying. And sometimes they get elevated by society. And Dr. Atkins was a good example of that.
Yeah, nice. Starting by Lambo. I can also just tell you that like you can get any kind of supercar on like finance for a few grand a month, and like it's absolutely realistic to be able to put a few grand a month aside just to have that if that's what you really want. But better things to spend it on. Warhammer is its own toxic, I'm sure. Agreed. The highest salary most copywriters can max out is 80k. Just not true.
Really?
Like that, the ceiling is so much high. We are living proof of that. You just need to make sure you are, having building adjacent skills.
Like
anyway.
I mean, it's just no. Like just thinking about like for example, Evaldo, like he, I think 1 year, was it 2018 or 2019? He earned something like close to $12 million in 1 year.
That's awesome.
That's $1 million a month, guys, if you can math. And like all he did was just work harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
And English was his second language. Actually, I think it was his third. So like, get out of here with that. Like, yes, it's possible. Is it possible for you? Maybe not.
I mean, also, I'm liking Bureau's opinions less because he's also said SEO copywriting is the best copywriting to get into. So I'm going to stop reading these comments now.
Yeah, I don't think Bureau knows what he's talking about.
Tanya, thanks, Tanya. Appreciate it.
Tanya, that's the first time that you've spoken where I think that you're actually wrong. You're spot on about everything.
You just watch. Sean's just jealous that he didn't think of it. What about Yuki cards? Equally expensive. Okay, look, I play a Felgrand deck and a Sky Strikers deck. Like so, I know. And to be fair, Sky Strikers wasn't very expensive. Neither's Felgrand, but like you start getting into like some of the. I'm not. All right, let's move on. So, I'm a nerd, Sean. What's your favorite type of watch, Sean? I feel like we probably covered that.
Yeah, that's. Listen, like, here's what I would love to do one day. I would love to like go to this like a really exclusive like VIP event wearing like a cheap McDonald's like Shrek digital watch. Like one of the pop open Shrek watches.
Yeah. Oh, I'd do that with you. I've been learning copyright for 2 weeks now, every day 2-3 hours a day, and I actually feel I'm good. Should I keep learning and practicing, or just go and start outreach?
Start.
Yeah, just start outreach. Like, you're not going to be the best that you ever will be right now at either copywriting or outreach, but just start doing something and have a baptism by fire. Like, you'll definitely, I can always guarantee you're going to go through a dip. Like, at some point where you're like, oh, actually, I don't know anything about copywriting. But you just need to drive through it.
In my how to practice copywriting masterclass, definitely one of the best things that I've put out on the channel. I break down like how you should be spending your days if you only have 2 to 3 hours a day. And I break down like what you should be doing during your different blocks of time. And you can start the process of outreach before you ever technically reach out to somebody. And you can have that be part of your practice, as in, like, you can go research businesses, how they acquire customers, how they monetize customers, what their funnels look like, things like that. And that not only can be part of your outreach, as in you're actually taking notes on these businesses and looking for things either you can slot into or improve, but that also informs your study and your practice. And like, you can then maybe write a spec piece for those businesses. There's so much that you can do that is like outreach adjacent, but not quite outreach. But also, like, at a certain point, you got to start before you're ready. So, otherwise, you're never going to start.
Yeah. What do you think separates cold traffic copy from warm traffic copy?
Awareness.
That's a broad question, because also, like, it depends what kind of cold traffic, depends what kind of warm traffic. So, like, the broad answer to that I would give is, for warm traffic copy, you can play on the fact that they already have a relationship with you and know you, so you can afford to be a little more direct with, like, what you're selling to them, broadly speaking, you know, because they already have that innate trust. Whereas indirectly, you need to do a bit more proving about why the brand is trustworthy and why the product might be right for them. So, something to consider there. Here we go. What do you think of the Jaguar rebrand, or whatever it was?
I'll let you take this one.
We've done so well at, like, not talking about this. I honestly am fucking sick of hearing about it, and I haven't given my opinion, like, anywhere publicly about it. Maybe we'll ask about it last time on stream. I can't remember. I and Rod had a slight conversation about it on Discord. I don't really give a shit, like, in any way, is the first thing I want to say. Because you can spin it any which way you want. You can spin it by, oh yeah, but it got attention. You can spin it by, well, who knows if it's going to drive sales. You can spin it by, oh, they're betraying their core customer. Like, the point is, whether it did well or not is completely subjective. So there's no point in us even discussing if it was good, right? Therefore, I don't care, because I can't pin down whether it's good advertising or not. We will only know in, like, a year's time. So it's not. I just don't want to be dragged into a discussion about it. Anything you want to add, Sean?
No, and honestly, I've seen very little of the Jaguar rebrand. I haven't seen the ads. I haven't seen anything they're looking. I've been purposely avoiding that, because I know that it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, like, it's a blend of, like, fake outrage plus, like, stuff that's not going to really matter in my life whatsoever, and so I just don't give a shit.
That's the thing. Like, I spend more time than you do on LinkedIn, I imagine, purely because, like, I have some clients who do LinkedIn stuff, and, like, I like keeping an eye on a few companies that I either know or have worked for or whatever. And for a solid, like, month after that came out, or however long it was, like a few weeks after that came out, that was just all I saw. And I almost did a post, and I didn't, because I was like, it's not even worth my time to do the post. But I just wanted to actually put, like, I will bottle the next person I see talking about the Jaguar rebrand, because people are like, oh, what does this mean? How much impact is it going to have? And I know it kind of snuck through to international media in, like, some cases, and some people were, like, outraged and some people were defending it. But broadly speaking, the only people who gave a shit in any way were marketing twats on LinkedIn, who were just trying to give their opinion and be like, oh, no, this, oh, actually this, and actually that one. And I just don't care. It's like
manufactured outrage to get attention. It's the world that we live in right now. It's if you're trying to build a list, it works. It works. But
I just hate LinkedIn, honestly. I got to start doing more on there, but I just don't like the people on there.
Yeah, big same.
Where can I price out my Yu-Gi-Oh cards to sell them? Well, I mean, like, if you just go to, like, YGO Pro forums, like, people can give you kind of up-to-date information. So that's what I do. I want to earn more money for more geeky pursuits.
Jax knows what.
Jax got it. Jax has got it. Lol the Shrek Watch. Yep. How many types of copy should be practiced daily? Emails, ads, sales page, squeeze page, email sequence, etc. I think I know what video you're going to refer them to, Sean.
The How to Practice Masterclass, but this person has probably already seen it. And my thing is, like, I think that there should be a complex, adaptive, like, feedback loop between. Like, you're sort of like, okay, I've just discovered this copywriting thing. I've discovered the daily practice. I need to write anything, and so you start writing bullets. You start, like, working on small things like emails and space ads and things like that. Okay, once you're in like that position where it's like, okay, I've been studying this copywriting thing for a few weeks, I feel pretty competent, I'm getting to the point where like when I reread my copy, I can't see anything that I would change. It's at that point where you want to start branching out and like go to the businesses and research the businesses that you would want to work for ideally, and then write a new sales page for them, or a new sales letter, or a new squeeze page for them that's like different from what they're doing, like different enough that they would be able to justify hiring you, and then like practice that way. So it's not like that's sort of nebulous, unformed practice. It's more deliberate and geared towards like what you would be doing as a professional, and using those observations in the prospective clients that you have to inform the types of practice that you do. Because, and here's another advantage of doing it that way: one, you can use your practice pieces as spec pieces, and two, if they don't accept your spec pieces, you can just slot them into your portfolio and be like, hey, this is the type of stuff that I can do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good advice. Bruce back. Copy that. I literally watched all your videos. I was your 11th subscriber. Even got a screenshot. Thank you very much. But I still think you're wrong about SEO copywriting. You can be a fan and be wrong. Just as we can be on the screen and also be wrong. I'm sure if you like trained an AI tool to like scrape YouTube videos and like pick out all the moments that we were wrong, like I'm sure we could probably get a couple hours of compilation out of that. So like,
I don't know, man.
You're pretty perfect.
Stuff that I'm kind of wrong about, I'm kind of right about too.
In a way. So Biro, please do not take this as an attack on you. We're just saying that like you're speaking with a lot of certainty about, for example, SEO being the best or AEK being the cap, or you have to do it this way. And if you have watched all the Copy That videos, like something I hope you'll appreciate is that we do not like to prescribe specifics to what people can and can't do and where they should and shouldn't be focusing, because we are living proof that you can write cold outreach emails for industrial piping, you can write landing pages for hot tubs, you can write, briefs because of like for your chocolate factory business, which sounds a lot more exciting than just like the cocoa brand or whatever it was, but and you can make a lot of money. So hopefully for everyone watching, like take that to heart. You don't need to be doing anything specific, and there is no best route. Hey, we're gonna like this question. Any thoughts from Rory Sutherland?
Oh, let me show you something really quick.
Please do.
For our boot camp members, we literally just bought every single one of them a copy today.
Yeah.
We bought 21 copies of Alchemy to just give to everybody. Like it wasn't even in the bonus stack. We were just like, this is a book that we were like, yeah, fuck it. Like, Merry Christmas. Like, here's a free copy of Alchemy.
Yeah. So we like Rory Sutherland. He's a very, very cool guy. He's also, and again, I think something that people don't like praise him enough for is he's entertaining as well. So it makes engaging with his content a lot more fun. So I think he's a good place to start, like if you're interested in stuff. I think I'm glad I didn't discover him for a while in my career, just because I'd already built a bit of a foundation, and then I used that to supplement what I had. But yeah, he's a cool guy. Alchemy's very good.
I agree.
Do you know any copywriters who interview customers one-on-one as part of the research process? I do.
Yeah. It's kind of like basics.
Yeah.
It's not really basics. It's like if you're getting paid enough to do it, then you definitely should.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just good research, and if you're getting paid enough to do good research, you should do good research.
Mm-hmm. Biro, I got 2 clients by watching all your vids. Awesome. Testimonial. And then last question, do you have a book list?
Hold the fuck on, because yes, we do. It's literally on our website. Books every copywriter should read. We have a whole video about it. It has one of my favorite skits ever of like, are you suffering from next bookitis? And then we have all the books that we actively recommend.
Yeah. Oh God, Over Deliver. I love that book.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at that in a while.
Yeah, it's a good one. So we definitely like we should probably add to this, I guess, at some point. But it is.
I'm so torn about like recommending books because I really don't want to be the cause of people like overstudying.
Yeah, that's one of the two like extremes that newbies do. Either they like throw themselves at outreach before they're even good. That's one extreme. And then there's the people who like never do outreach and they're just like the next course, the next book, the next thing that I need to consume before I can justify doing outreach. It's
Yeah.
like both of those are a mistake, like a huge fucking mistake. And in truth, like you should read 2 books and then focus on reading copy for the next 3 months. And you're going to learn the most doing that. And then everything else will be not a needle mover, but rather an optimization.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really buy marketing books anymore. Like I couldn't tell you the last I think the last marketing book I bought was the Breakthrough Advertising like I can't remember what they called it, like a companion guide or mastery. I can't remember what it was, but it's just breakthrough advertising kind of annotated and then filled with like a ton of examples of both Schwartz's ads and then other ads that have applied. It's pretty good. I can't remember what it's called. It's down there. And I haven't got my glasses, so it might be that one you've got.
Hold on, I had to take the blanket off to reach this. I think this was the last marketing book that I bought.
I actually know that might have been because I got it as well. So that might be the last one I got.
But
yeah, I only got that because I thought the presentation was awesome. Yeah. And just a super good way of selling something.
Alex Ramosi is a real one, but also like I would be cautious about following his stuff because all of his stuff is geared towards like writing towards a very direct audience, especially B2B. You know, like Gym Launch, for example, or you know what he's doing with acquisition.com. Like really like his whole business right now, his info business is a funnel to get more businesses that his business can acquire. And so the whole shtick of like his scaling workshops and stuff like that is designed to like overcome the risks that are present with most small businesses. Like, for example, like, you know, main person risk and things like that. And just to get these businesses such that they're operating like real businesses. So like, for example, Copy That is not a real business. You know, it's, if the 4 of us decided to stop doing Copy That would end. A real business, like if the founder decides to step away, well, the machinery of the business keeps going. And so like all of his books are designed and geared towards marketing that's more direct and more in that line. And so there's a lot of amazing stuff that you can learn from there. That's all sort of synthesized from like Mark Ford, Jay Abraham, Rich Schefren, you know, Roy Furr, other people like that. And like his books are good because they're a good distillation of all that stuff we know works. And Alex, I think, is probably the first marketer I've ever met who like truly implements all the stuff that he talks about and teaches. Like, for example, Copy That. We definitely do not do all the optimal things that we should be doing.
No way.
Acquisition.com is really good at implementing all those optimal things, even if their copy is like geared towards a more direct, more aware kind of audience. And that's my opinion of that.
Yeah. Awesome. There's a couple more that we can get to. I'm getting tired now though because I actually have other stuff to do.
This will be the end.
All right. This one really quick. How do you convince customers to have those interviews? Do you have to give them a certain incentive? No. Like if they're your customers and they want you to sell things for them, just say, I want to make sure I get your voice right and I want to make sure that I have everything covered when I sell this to your audience and to new people. So it would be great to have an interview with you, just an hour, just talk you through, 30 minutes to an hour, just so I have everything down. They should. I don't know why they'd say no. And then last one. What other psychology book do you guys recommend? Maybe a book you guys never mentioned here or in Discord.
Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yeah, Thinking Fast and Slow is a good one. Like I like that a lot. I know there's some of it, like a few of the chapters have kind of since been kind of retested and like it's not as good. But one thing I love that for is just the idea of focus and like not basically a backup to the rule of one and not distract people too much. I like that a lot. Influence, we've definitely spoken about Influence a hell of a lot. Like, it's a good book.
I have a whole 4-part series just breaking down the different concepts, psychological concepts in this book.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything I haven't mentioned. I really like, it's not a psychology book in any way, but like there's a book called The Gene, which is just a really interesting book. Like it's just super interesting. But within that, they talk about like certain genetic predispositions to diseases and also like how humans have reacted to the discovery of certain things about genetics through the ages, and like that's really interesting because it kind of introduces you to how people feel about their phenotypes, or like the, you know, the, effectively their characteristics, how they are, and how that can influence then what they go on to, how they go on to behave. And like I definitely took some stuff from copywriting with that, and I actually just think it's a pretty good book to like up your knowledge, because genetics is such an interesting subject, and you can really use that in a lot of ways for different brands you write for. That's not that's not a psychology book though. I just like it.
I sort of on that note, like I would say that I probably learned more about human psychology from reading Dostoevsky, like the fiction of Dostoevsky, than I ever did reading a book on psychology.
Yeah, it's the same like autobiographies and biographies. Like, I mean, I think we've spoken about this before. Like, I'm a massive fan, so like I've got other books kind of stacked over there at the moment. But, like historical biographies, I'm just such a huge fan of. And I'm not going to say like they're going to be perfect for teaching you psychology, but you read about so many instances and stories and anecdotes of when people have done things and why they think in a certain way, and character analyses of different people. Like I'm reading my second one at the moment on Horatio Nelson, and like one thing that he like did, just for example, is what is often referred to as like the Nelson touch, where he would just inspire like his men by giving them both accountability of responsibility, so like expecting them to take responsibility for their actions, but also giving them the freedom to make their own decisions, and like how that made him so much loved and respected. But a big character flaw he had was that he loved flattery, and he always wanted his stuff to be publicized. He always wanted to be told he was doing a good job, and just things like that, where it's like, oh well, can I take anything from that to use in my copy to make sure I'm making people feel good, and to like, you know, not necessarily flatter them, but make them feel seen and make them their accomplishments feel praised? Is that something I should be taking and doing more in copy? Because clearly it worked for like his men. And I'm not going to say like, oh, it's always going to be really clear and perfect for you, but I love reading biographies like that and character analyses, and just being like, oh, that might be something I could incorporate into a campaign here and there, like now and then, or just the stories themselves. I used Nelson as a reference in one of the masterclasses I did. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, we just read Think Inside the Box, and that book is just full of like fascinating tidbits of information and like historical details and like, you know, compelling facts just sort of thrown in there that just adds spice to the copy. As you know, it's you gotta read widely, guys. Like, at the end of the day, what we're writing about when we're writing copy is the human condition, human yearning, you know, human pain. And some of the best places to get that stuff is either from people directly or from like fictional accounts of people going through a similar thing. And so, like, listen, there are people out there who are like very literally minded, and it's like if there's not a book being like, when you encounter a person with these objections, you should try these 5 things. Those books exist, you know, and there's an audience for them. But then there's, in my opinion, a much stronger way to learn this kind of stuff, and that is to read stories, like actual accounts, either fictional or non-fictional, about people that are experiencing the sorts of things that we're writing about. And for that, you have to read sort of like outside your comfort zone. Like most people watching this, they probably like read, you know, romance or popular fiction or things like that. Not a lot of them are going to read about like for example, there's a great Reynolds Price book. It's a memoir about how he overcame debilitating pain following his cancer diagnosis that paralyzed him. Like shit. Like if you want to learn about fucking back pain, read that goddamn book. You know? like nobody's written about back pain more poetically than Reynolds Price. And most of you have never heard who Reynolds Price is.
Yeah, guilty.
So, like, that is, in my opinion, a better place to learn about psychology. It's just look for where you can find access to greater depths of the human condition. And a lot of that is in stories.
Yeah. All right. There's one last question, which is about us.
Oh,
So I thought we'll answer that since we can answer it.
oh
How are
God.
you approaching the view stagnation of the channel compared to the immense value and sacrifice you give? Are you satisfied just with course sales, or you're battling for more? Like,
Has are we experiencing a view stagnation?
not massively. Like, there are some that have got like, our average tends to be around like 2 to 3,000, like for each video after a few weeks.
Yeah.
And like that's just our core audience, and then we'll get one that is like 40,000, we'll get one that is like 20,000. That's just
Yeah,
how
I mean,
YouTube channels work.
well, YouTube, like, imagine like a target where it's like 0 is like, okay, this video is intended only for our super fans of Copy That. And it's like, if you don't know us, you ain't gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And then there's like all the way that's like a 10, and it's like pure entertainment. It's like everybody can love this, like a Mr. Beast video.
Yeah.
And then like most educational channels fall somewhere in there. Some go more broad. Usually those are the copy gurus who go for more like income opportunities and stuff like that. And we don't really do that. And so like we're always going to be a little bit narrower. Our sort of organic strategy with the channel really is to hit those people that felt either disappointed with or let down by, or like there was something missing from those other channels. And so like we're never going to like reach the broadest audience. I'm hoping that the big course will, but like, yeah.
We disqualify very hard for good reason. Like, we don't want to be selling to most of the people who try and get into copywriting, because you have to be slimy to sell to most people wanting to get into copywriting, because you need to promise results and you need to promise cash. And like, we're not about that. We don't want to do that. Like, for example, the video, how copywriting gurus scam you. When I was scripting that, I'm like, I know this is going to do well. I know this because it's entertaining and it's striking at a nerve. But the people who watch that video, like, most of them are not our target audience. They're people who are searching for quick victories, and they just want to, but they're really skeptical, and they're trying to see like, oh, who's going to give me the best thing? And a lot of them will watch that video and then click off and be like, oh, no, fuck this. I'm sure I can find like the perfect answer somewhere. So even like the 5-hour video, like that's got, like almost 1 million views, and like that is can be so broad, but like how many people are actually going to fucking pay attention to that and implement it? Maybe 1%, if that, probably fewer people. The people we want to attract and the people who we want to buy our stuff are the people who are actually going to benefit from it. And for us, that's not like brand new people. So yeah, of course, like if channel views are going up, like good, but that's not a metric we look at to be like, oh my God, we got to make sure views are going up, because that's not how the business runs. It doesn't run off views. It runs off of people engaging and buying our shit, like the boot camp.
Like
and that,
I'll give you an example. November, I released a video with the headline "Buy for Now," basically saying like we ain't doing any new like planned videos. We'll do these live streams, but we ain't doing any new videos until like 2025. Like we're just chilling and focusing on like the paid stuff. And guess what happened? In November, we had literally by like an order of magnitude our best sales month ever.
Yeah.
Just by pivoting our focus from like forcing out the content versus focusing on monetization. So
yeah, and Petfly just followed that with, I understand what you're saying. To rephrase, you're comfortable enough how you are at the moment to keep going. 100%. Like the boot camp, which is something that we specifically say like this is for people who are earning money and who've watched our stuff and who want to get to that next level, not for newbies. Like that was high ticket. Like that was a very high ticket considering what most people would like be okay paying for copywriting stuff. And we thought, I think we said, right, we're going to run that campaign for 3 weeks. We're only going to let 20 people in, and we're going to see how many we sell.
That, I mean, it blew me away because you said you were right. We were going to run it for 3 weeks, and what ended up happening was we sent one email and it sold out in 12 hours.
Yeah, and that kept us also with the Black Friday campaign. Like that just gave us a massive cash flow for the business, so we can keep putting videos out and stuff. But right now, that investment is mainly going into this big course.
Mm-hmm.
And
also just operations. Like I think we might dividend out like 30% of net cash flow from that, but most of it is just going to go towards like, for example, StreamYard costs money. We're using StreamYard to stream this. Kajabi costs money. Like all these different things cost money. Having a video editor costs money. Like, creating materials like thumbnails and stuff like that, it all costs money. And so I'd rather then pay us. I'd rather keep money in the business to grow it. And it's like, there's no point in like driving a lot of traffic or making a lot of new videos yet until we have like, like I want to fix the autoresponder gauntlet. Like I want to do a whole bunch of shit before we start pumping out more videos to get more people, because it's, the funnel's not optimized. So
yeah, so we're working on a lot of that stuff basically at the moment.
Yep.
All right, cool. I think that's probably it, because I thought I was going to have to come off like an hour after the start, and we've now been going for like 3.5 hours.
Alex, as always, I really appreciate you doing these little Q&As with me, and just like reviewing the bootcamp people's emails. Like it was really cool, one, to give them feedback, but two, to also like collaborate with you on that, as always.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's also why I wanted to like make sure I cut out the time, because I was like, oh yeah, it's the bootcamp guys, so you guys mean a lot to us. But yeah, I think we're done, Sean. And you know what? We didn't go too crazy in this. We hit the 2-hour mark, and we didn't go like too insane.
No, it's true. It's true. There were a few moments where I definitely busted up laughing, but hopefully everybody got something from this. It was very email focused. We'll do like sales letters or leads or something like that at some point in the future. But yeah, guys, truly, sincerely, I appreciate everybody who's watching. Sincerely appreciate everybody in the boot camp. I will keep everybody apprised of like how they do and how the tournament is going. That would be a fun thing to write emails about, and like, as like a little like weekly update, like, dramatize it, like, Michael went up against Hilda and Hilda came through at the last second.
That'd be awesome. Well, you guys are all, thank you for hanging out with us as well. Thanks for those fun prices. Love you guys.
It was like New York mixed with like the Penguin.
Yeah, it was also racist. Let's not forget that.
Well, I'm American.
Yeah.
I was parodying my own people.
Oh, all right, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, you can like play up the Cockney, like, fake English accent.
That is my own people. That's when I come out of this mode. That's how I go back. Good old Watford. All right, guys, we're gonna end the stream. I'm tired.
Sounds good. Alex, I'll catch you later.
I will see you later. Goodbye, my friends.
Goodbye. Thank you.
And I hope Sean is pressing it. Because my mouth.